Show no fear, think of me by your side. All is clear, know what we have to do. Show no fear.
Hello, and welcome to a little after party. So we've had Red Bomb, we've had Simon GTR, and I thought I would just pop on just to sort of round the night off and welcome if you're joining us. Thanks very much if you are. My name is Zedhead Motovlogs. So I'm just going to go into, let's see, where are we here? To this, go into that, go into this. No, we're not in that. Where are we? That's it there. So we'll go into this. We'll copy that, and then we'll open up another little page here because we'll be on YouTube as well. So we're live. There I am there. My God, what an ugly mug. So hello, how y'all doing? There's AB. I'm just going to put the link up on the description. Send a link. Empty belly. It is done. Anonymous. How you doing, brother? Listen, man, we need to get you on a live stream of some sort. You need to come on. You need to come on to a live stream. That'd be awesome, man. Finally get the chance to talk to you. But hello and welcome. This is all very, very new to me. I don't do this. Obviously, like you've probably seen me on Red Bombs, you've probably seen me on Simon GTRs, or you've probably even seen me on the Military Bikers live streams. But to run my very own, it's slightly different, and to say the least. Is my audio coming in okay? Can everyone hear me? That's a thing. Oh, there's MT.
Hello.
How you doing?
I just put on backstage.
No, that's it. No, I was just thinking. I'm just trying to get everything set up, pal. How's things?
Oh, fine. Sorry about me. I was just having a rant earlier about bloody road tax and everything. It winds me up.
It's all good, man. It's all good. Listen, it's
like I say, this is where the government is bloody wrong. They encourage you not to work rather than to go to work. You know, so.
It's all politics at the end of the day, isn't it? Really, at the end of the day, there's not a lot you can do about it.
Well, no, it's just wrong in my eyes. But
yeah, I don't disagree with that for a minute. So
yeah.
What's happening with you? I hear you get out on your bike.
Yeah, I was out Thursday. I went out because I had to get out to the chemist anyway. Because I needed to pick my meds up. And I thought, rather than taking the coffee box, I'll take the bike. So I went for a little tootle around on that, sort of locally, just to get my confidence back up on the bloody thing again. And that's when I discovered the memory card I put in the camera was the wrong bloody memory card.
Yeah.
Because it was like, I was riding along and I could hear it beeping on my head. And it's like, whenever it's beeping, it's like, that's, something's going off with it. And I pulled over, took my helmet off, had a look at it, and he kept coming up with recover movies.
Yeah.
I'm like, why are you saying that? And it's like, yes, sort of thing. And it's like, right, okay. And I drive along a bit more, and then he beep again. And I thought, oh, bloody hell, this is going to waste time me doing the vlog. I'll just go home, sort of thing. And I came back home. I was wet through from head to toe. In frigging sweat. I must have lost about 20 stone on the bloody bike because of how hot it was. And I got my biker jeans off and took the t-shirt off. They were wet through. I got my summer jacket on as well. And I didn't even zip my jacket up because it was that bloody hot on the bike.
Aye.
And I was thinking, I'll go out today. And then when I saw it was up to 30 degrees, I thought, I'm not going bloody anywhere on the bike today. It's too hot to do home.
See, that's the thing. There's no happy medium. There's no in between. It's like you're either like freezing cold or
red hot.
roasting hot.
Yeah, because I bought myself a decent. I've got a Frank Thomas summer jacket.
Yeah.
So it's got all the Kevlar and everything, protection in it still and everything, and it's a really nice airy. Hey up, Andy.
Hey Andy, how you doing, man?
Airy jacket. It's just too bloody hot. So looks fun. It's going to be cooler on Monday, Tuesday, so I'll probably go out on it on Monday, Tuesday, and go through a spin around.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
So,
that's good. That's good.
Wednesday.
Grand Prix on again this weekend, so I tend not to go out the house for that song because I don't.
I'm not a Grand Prix fan. The tracks are too narrow. The cars are too wide. I don't want to go down the whole.
Well, they're in Canada, aren't they? So it's a proper circuit. So
yeah, the Grand Prix hasn't been interesting for a number of years. I think when it went normally aspirated, turbocharged. The parity between the whole Formula One was just a nonsense.
Yeah.
Right.
What's up, Andy?
A friend are in the garden. It's still 20 degrees, and a pair of them have just put coats on.
Coats?
What? It's 21 degrees. I'm sat here in a t-shirt. I've got a fan on, and I wish I hadn't got the t-shirt on.
Oh dear.
The only reason I put this t-shirt on is because of coming on live.
It's 11 degrees. It's 11 degrees in Scotland and mostly cloudy, and I've just put sun cream on.
Yeah. That's what I was saying. That's the one thing we never took to Scotland was sunscreen.
Yeah, I saw you posted about that. You ended up buying it. You ended up having to buy some. It was fucking crazy. That's typical English. Well, UK weather. Sorry, I won't say English because it's Scotland as well. But it's typical whole of the UK, isn't it?
The thing about Scotland is like we do get a fair share of rain. That's well documented. But Andy will testify that when you get Scotland in dry, sunny weather, it's quite a fantastic place to be.
Oh yeah.
I'm putting up right there. It's a bit cloudy, but we hit Glencoe and it was 23 degrees. We got right up on the north coast.
Yeah.
Like near the Shmoo Caves.
Yeah.
22 degrees.
Yeah.
Perfect biking weather. Not too hot.
Not too cold.
Absolutely.
No, nothing. We just got lucky. I mean, the chances of us ever doing that again and getting a perfect week to do the NC 500 is
absolutely. Absolutely, because there'll always be something. It'll either be you'll just be right in the midgy season, or it'll rain for the solid week, or it's like there'll be something to get it. Because my mate,
I've got a bleeding heat wave.
My mate Ross stays down in Cottgrave. I know Matt knows.
I know Cottgrave. Yeah.
Ross stays down there, and he came up with a group of boys, and when Ross came up in the Thursday night, I think it was about 19, 20 degrees. I think when we went out on the Friday, we got to about 22, 23. And when the other boys come up on the Saturday, we were 24, 25. And that's the way it went the whole weekend. Hot roads, sticky tyres. They saw Scotland at its best. And that's what I said to them. I said, you could come up here another 100 times and you will not catch this place the same way.
Well, the interesting thing is I had my memories come up on Facebook from 6 years ago. 6 years ago, I was on the Isle of Wight with my brother on his motorbike. And over there, it was glorious sunshine, on the Isle of Wight on the south coast. Up in Nottingham, it was pissing it down with rain. And it's like, and then you get your memories like from 4 years ago, and I'm whinging about how hot it is from 4 years ago. And even in the last 5 or 6 years, this time of year, it seems to be bloody how we are at the moment. This is like our summer.
The temperature on my beer machine is dropping.
Oh, your beer machine. Yeah.
I'd be panicking.
Yeah.
I got a draft beer machine behind the bar, and it gets quite hot up in here, and it's been up to sort of like 8 or 9 degrees. It should be sitting at 3.
Yeah.
It's just starting to drop, so I can tell the temperature dropping.
Temperature's dropping, yeah. Like I say, it's 21 now, so You know.
Yeah, it's like as I say, like we've had like that spell. It's like it was obviously the day we met you, Andy. It was cool, and like changeable to say the least. And the weather's not really sort of improved much since, but apparently after tonight, I think we're due rain showers about 3-4 in the morning, and then it's meant to dry out. So anonymous biker saying it's 102 today.
What's that in English?
Fahrenheit, and 102 Fahrenheit. I don't know what that is in real money.
38.
Oh, there you go. That's
38.8 Celsius, that is.
So if they're sitting in their Harleys, it's burning their vaginas.
Yeah. So I just had to do a quick Google conversion from imperial to metric. You know.
I wasn't quick enough for that.
But bloody hell. Yeah, but what's the humidity, Anonymous? Because that's what kills us over here.
Yeah. No, we had quite a lot of rain today, but there was like maybe about an hour and a half, or like the sun came out, and like that's basically the water evaporating, and it was quite clammy. It was quite uncomfortable, to be quite honest.
Yeah, that's what I mean. No. In fact, the last few nights, well, because of this hot weather, the last couple of nights, I've had to use my old CPAP machine, so I've been looking like Tom Cruise for the last couple of nights with my oxygen mask on.
Yeah,
because of how bloody hot it is. So, well, that was the good news anyway. At least my episodes of that have dropped down a bit. So.
Always a bonus.
Well, I'm only stopping breathing twice every hour now, rather than like 10, 12 times every hour. So
I must be worrying that I got something. It was basically down to stress. I ended up having to go to the hospital and get a stress test. It was basically the job that I was doing at the time, and the amount of work and the amount of hours that I was putting in. When I was relaxing, I felt as if I was basically shutting down. I was sort of jolting upright because I felt my heart was stopping. I felt that I was stopping breathing, and that's what they put it down to, was just like the excessive stress of the job. And it's like the weirdest thing. It's like when you're that tired that you're wanting to nod off, but your body's saying nope, you're actually shutting completely down. Yeah. It's the weirdest thing.
88%. Geez, I'd be a puddle on the floor. Jesus, no, I couldn't be doing that. 39 degrees and 88% humidity.
That's like you're sitting in the aircon house and you open the door and walk outside and you're just soaking.
Yeah.
Straight away.
It's like walking out the house into a bloody oven, that is.
No, definitely.
Yeah, because the old sleep apnea is quite a funny thing, actually, because it's a weird condition because you don't realise you've got it yourself.
Right.
And it was... I went to the hospital, got referred to the hospital, because the only reason why I did it is because my brother suffered with it.
Yeah.
So he went, you need to go and get yourself checked. Because I was getting like knackered in the middle of the afternoon, like 2-3 o'clock, and I'd be nodding off for an hour.
Yeah.
And waking up. And that. And I went and got checked, and they stick a monitor on your finger overnight, which gives them a rough idea. But my missus, luckily enough, recorded me snoring. And I'd snore for a bit, and then I'd stop snoring, and then suddenly I'd be like gasping for air, and then start snoring again. And she recorded it, and she went to the doctor. Oh yeah, I recorded him the other night. He played it back. Well, it was that morning. She played it back to him. As soon as he listened to it, he went, "He's stopped breathing now. Wait for it. He's going to start gagging for air." And next thing you know, you can hear me gagging for air. He went, "Yeah, you need a CPAP machine, mate."
I'm sure the missus didn't have a pillow over your face.
Yeah. Yeah. Mrs. just said she removed the
pillow over
from
the
head.
face, over the face, and the policies in the other hand.
Yeah, she just said that, and
what is like as the sleep apnea? Is it like related to any other condition like epilepsy or is it like
no? What it is it mainly affects men,
right?
And it's I've got a big neck and a short
With their
jaw.
wives next to them.
Yeah, I've got a big wide neck. If you look, I've got a fat neck,
Right.
and I've got all small jawline. And what happens is when you sleep, your windpipe closes.
Yeah.
So what happens is you don't get proper REM sleep. You know, you don't fall asleep fully because your brain suddenly goes, you need to wake up.
Yeah.
You've stopped breathing.
Yeah, because it's protecting itself.
So it's protecting you.
Yeah.
But the problem is, it has caused a few deaths as well, where people have died because of it. So what you hear is it's an air compressor.
Yeah.
Basically.
It's
forcibly. It's forcing air into you. And what mine does is when I first put it on, it's on a real low pressure. So it starts off on a low pressure, and then obviously by the time you fall asleep, it's on full whack.
Yeah.
And it's positive air pushing into you all the time. So it keeps your airways open and everything. But it is a killer. It can be a killer. And the most commonest sign of it is people who snore, and then they'll stop snoring, and then you'll hear them like gasp and start snoring again. Okay. And that's because your brain is just woken you up and gone, you've stopped breathing. But it hasn't woken you fully up. It's just woken you up enough to start you breathing again.
Yeah.
And the other symptom is you'll find yourself nodding off at any random times during the day. You was just sat there and just nod off, randomly because you're knackered.
Yeah. And but that's attributed to the fact of the episodes throughout the night.
Yeah, that's because of the sleep apnea.
Yeah.
Because you haven't got a proper. So basically, I was stopping breathing like 10 times an hour.
Right.
So technically, I'd probably only got about 2.5, 3 hours full sleep.
Yeah.
In the course of the 8 hours of the night, because most of the time I'm not fully asleep, so I'm not getting the proper REM cycle.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And it's a weird thing, but I'm down to, like I say, I was down to 2 episodes a night the other night.
Yeah. So what kind of other than the CPAP did they advise? Is it a dietary change?
No.
Is there anything else that they advise?
The extreme case is surgery. Obviously, the normal thing, quit smoking, and obviously lose a bit of weight because I've got to put weight on. But it's the normal things like that. But it's just one of those conditions, and it can be hereditary.
Go to the doctors with a bad toe, and they'll say you need to lose weight.
Quit smoking, I know, and lose weight. They always say that.
That's the first thing out of the mouth.
Yeah. But it's a hereditary condition as well.
Billy Connolly always said it says that the older you get, the doctors stop wanting to feel your balls and want to start touching your bum.
Yeah.
And that's true. It's like, what age are you? Just to bend over, Mr. Anderson. Jog on.
And almost you're right. Riding in bike gear, it is a bloody pain in this weather. Even over here.
Oh dear. Doesn't come easy, does it?
But it is a weird medical condition. It really, really is. And it has been known to, cause deaths in people. Yeah. But it's simple. Like I say, I'll do my Tom Cruise impression when I put my face mask on and everything, So. Well, yeah, it's weird. Like I say,
permission to buzz the tower.
Yeah. Well, like I say, you don't get proper REM sleep, and that. Your body doesn't shut down properly. So
Andy, what's your next trip? What's your next trip that you've got planned?
Nothing planned as yet. I've got a bit of time off in October. So yeah, we might jump on a plane and sod off somewhere for a week. But nothing planned on the bike now till next year.
Yeah.
Not saying we ain't going to do something, because quite randomly we just decide to get up and go, which we do.
Yeah.
Nothing really planned till next year. depending on you guys, of course. If you decide you wanted to go, it'll be a week away. Not I'm away for 2 weeks, and I'm going to do Austria and Switzerland again.
Yep. I'm 50 next year, so I would like to do something.
Yeah, I'm 50 next year.
Yeah, it's a good age to be.
I'm 50 this year, so
It's a good age to be if we make it.
I'll let you know what it's like.
That's what it is. That's the one thing in life you don't have control of. So
I always say growing old's a pain in the arse. I see it as a privilege denied to so many. So.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of good people that never made it beyond
my
where
brain
I am.
definitely doesn't think I'm 50, but my body lets me know I'm 50 every day.
Yeah, mine does, especially like today in the rain, where my knee that's had 2 surgeries on it definitely reminded me it was damp, wet, and cold. So.
And you're right about life being too short. My dad died at 45, and my brother died at 50. So it definitely is too short.
Absolutely. I've had friends pass away at 16. It's like
If we want to do something, we do it. I don't put it off anymore. We want to buy a new car, buy a new car. I want a new bike, I'll get a new bike. Just want to be able to do it, right?
Yeah.
No, that's the thing.
Yeah,
you can tell I've been out on the bike as well because the beard's gone.
It's a lovely philosophy to have.
This planned any trips away?
Myself, well, like at the end of this month, there's like I've got a campsite up in Strathyre just outside Callander, which I'm planning on going to. There's a place just outside there, it's Loch Foyle, and there's a place called Balquhidder, and that's the burial place of Rob Roy McGregor. So what I want to do is I want to do a vlog, possibly riding into the campsite, a little campsite, frying bacon, having a roll, so on and so forth, and then head towards Balquhidder and show everyone where Rob Roy McGregor's buried and kind of give a little insight and a little history into where he sits in sort of Scottish folklore and Scottish history. I think it would be a nice little vlog.
That's cool. No, we've not looked yet. We really want to try and get away in September, October, the end of September, beginning of October.
Yeah.
The way the flights are at the minute, I said to the missus, if I go, I'm going to book something last minute because I'm just fed up with losing flights. I mean, so many holidays last year. I mean, Turkey was cancelled 2 days before we went. Egypt was cancelled a week before we went. Repatriated in Marrakesh.
My friend that I work with, he's scheduled to go to Egypt in 3 weeks' time, and I think it's with TUI, and they've even emailed to say
never travel with TUI again ever.
Right.
As long as I live.
So that's who he's chartered. That's who has whole deal, the
whole
package as well.
It was handled and we were treated leaving Marrakesh.
Right.
I would never ever use TUI again.
Yeah.
I'll
certainly not tell him because he's panicking because they sent an email just the other day to say we haven't cancelled any flights yet. It's not to say that we won't.
Wait until he gets on the freaking airplane. It's happened to a few people where they've been sat on the fucking plane and they've cancelled it.
That's the whole thing.
They've had to de-embark because they've all received a text saying your holiday's cancelled. They're sitting on the freaking plane.
The thing about it is, and like I was talking to a few people the other day, it's the people that are getting affected the most are the people who have chartered the plane journey themselves and booked the hotel separate, because like he's on it's like a package deal.
Yeah.
He's got protection in the entirety, and that's the flights and the hotel. But if you've only booked the flights through to and the flights cancel, you're still liable for the hotel. You'll get your flight money back, as Andy said, but you'll not get your hotel. So he's booked the whole thing. So that's the only sort of consolation
that's why you have travel insurance. Some travel insurance will cover you for that eventuality.
Actually, it's quite interesting how much you can actually claim back legally from the company if your holiday is cancelled.
That's right.
It's not just
they've made it so hard for you to do that, and it's so long. People don't bother.
It's also you're entitled to the time you've wasted at the airport. Not necessarily.
We waited months to get our money back for a holiday that we were cancelled while we were on it. We had 14 days in Marrakesh. We were there for 3, and it took us 9 months to get our money back.
Oh, that's crazy.
Well, but it made me laugh actually because I saw the thing where they were offering their what was it? I saw the one where the copper came out and was telling people the flights were cancelled and that they get the money for the holiday back and all this lot, and then they get like 50% discount on the next holiday booked, and it's like, really? Would you book your holiday again with that same firm? No, you fucking wouldn't. You'd go elsewhere.
There's no confidence in the whole industry. The whole travel industry is taking a massive hit, and like I fully understand and I fully appreciate that. It's like you think of all the hotels and all the. There's probably, I don't know, like some of the sort of travel companies have lost hotels off their inventory as it was.
Yeah.
They can't think it because they've maybe went under. Nobody's taking them on because nobody knows how the market's going to be. Nobody knows how it's going to bounce back. We're now in an energy crisis. We're now probably heading towards probably the biggest recession that we've seen in a long time. So the travel industry doesn't want to pump a lot of personnel, a lot of money into its the system when people are maybe going to sort of withdraw a wee bit and have to keep their money in house and not travel. They just don't know. I think that's the honest answer to it.
And the stupid thing is what makes you laugh is you can tell that all the hotels and that in the UK are reaping in the benefits of it because of the bloody prices they charge you nowadays.
Yeah, I think I honestly think, like, obviously, like right now, like the restrictions have been lifted. I think a lot of the people just now that are basically looking to book and travel abroad, there's maybe money that they've saved up throughout lockdown and whatever that they've saved up because they've had 2 years where they have had the money to go on holiday and not been able to go on holiday. So now they can unlock the taps and that's what they're doing.
This is why I spent the money up here in the garden. Spent the money on the garden. Spent the money on the bar.
It's exactly what I would have done as well. Andy, sorry.
We were spending probably about 10 grand a year on holidays before lockdown.
Yeah.
So when I can't go on holiday for 2 years, I'm going to spend it on something.
Yeah.
Like sitting on it. So we spent it on
it's like because we went out and bought a load of camping gear, because of lockdown, and we managed to get away for a few days during, when they eased the restrictions a little bit and then tightened everything up again. And well, the thing is all the camping stores and that had very little stock in because everybody in the UK decided we're going to go camping. So the tent sales and everything were going like crazy. And it's like my missus just said at the moment, it's
I couldn't think of anything worse than spending a full sort of like day on a bike doing 300 miles of arse smacking run to end up somewhere where you got to build your own.
Yeah. We were in the car, so it was the whole family.
See, to be quite honest, Andy, see if I was doing the North Coast, I would do it. I would do it with a tent. Yeah, I would do it with a tent, and I wouldn't even stop at campsites.
Hotels, showers.
Yeah, it's like no, I don't know. It's like it's horses for courses. I think that's the whole. Well, I understand. Like if you're obviously like you're coming up to Scotland and you've maybe done a whole day of riding.
To get the camping gear on the bike as well as
No, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. And the fact that possibly a whole day riding in the rain to then have to put a tent up in the rain for the tent to be put back down wet and so on. Yeah, I get that. I totally get that. I'm not a lover.
So, yeah.
Well, my missus just informed me it's cost £2,000 to spend a week at Butlins.
Yeah, see, there's a problem in itself. There's a problem in itself, and that's UK holiday resorts have not reacted to the.
You could get 2 weeks in Spain, all inclusive.
Or you get 2 weeks in bloody Turkey for that price.
my mum and dad,
not anymore,
my mum and dad have got an apartment in Javier in Spain, and basically I can go fly out of Prestwick Airport for a return for about 65 quid.
Yeah,
and that's for a fortnight. And when you go to the resort, you pay £50, which is like a maintenance fee, and that's you got a fortnight's holiday. And all you do is pay for your drink, your food, and that's it.
Yeah.
So you're there for a fortnight for about £200.
Yeah.
And you tell me anywhere in the UK that you can get a week or a couple of days, a weekend for 200 quid. You can't.
You can on the campsite. For about 3 days. Yeah.
The trip total for us was about 1,600 quid.
Yeah.
That week up in Scotland. I think we done just under 700 quid on hotels. We've done about 260, 270 quid on fuel. And then there was, the normal stuff, the food, the drink, going out, going to the pictures and buying crap for people. So, yeah, I think we've done about 1,600 quid.
Yeah.
2 weeks in school for, yeah.
It's only money, isn't it?
Well, you can't take it with you. That's for sure. And that's what I say. It's like there's certain life events that happen in life that make you realise that, you know what, just enjoy it. Just go for it. When you meet people, soak them in.
If you're lucky, you've probably got a good 20 years in front of you. That's it.
Yeah.
And even if you do live past that, you ain't gonna be able to throw your leg over a freaking pipe.
Andy, my dad's 83, right? And I've probably said it once or twice. I play lawn bowls, so my dad plays lawn bowls as well. And my mum bought my dad a pair of bowling shoes. And my dad said to me the other day, "This is probably the last pair of bowling shoes I'm going to own." Yeah, and I thought I was like, "Fuck's sake," and he's not wrong, and it's like it's just that we just chill out, just enjoy it.
Just said about getting a leg over the bike. I was watching a video the other day. It was a woman. She was out with her dad. Her dad's 76. And she goes, "Oh, I'll have a bit of fun with him." She went zooming off up the road on her bike, and next thing you saw was a 76-year-old dad come flying past her on fucking, and he just left her for doors. He was like, "You want fun? I'll have fun." Yeah, and he was 76-year-old bloke on a bloody sports bike.
I can tell you right now that if my mum wasn't in the house tomorrow, I could go down with a spare helmet and say to my dad, "Right, jump on." My dad's never been on a bike before. Has never ridden a bike, and I know for a fact that he would jump on. My dad's like his ex-parachute regiment. The first plane he was ever in, he jumped out of. 21, he climbed Mount Kilimanjaro. It's like he's my epitome of a hero. He's my hero. I love him to bits, but his life has just been absolutely fantastic, and it's all just been about get up and go. He actually worked in the Falkland Islands after the Falklands War. He worked for Balfour Kilpatrick, relaying the cables on the damaged runway for the runway lights and stuff like that. He spent 4.5 years there. Then he went down to Channel Tunnel and spent 4.5 years down the Channel Tunnel, followed by the British Library at King's Cross. So he sacrificed maybe about 15 years of his life away from us to earn money to put my family where it is just now, And That's.
I don't know whether you saw that program. It was on BBC Two with the Royal Marine Commandos. I don't know whether you saw that. It was quite interesting watching the young recruits go through all the training and everything.
Yeah.
And then go on to like the hardest course, which is like 9 months for the mountain leader or something they call it, where they go off up in for the Arctic and whatever, and do all the rock climbing and whatever, everything's. And
see, they do a lot at the back of Ben Nevis. They've got the Commando Monument that sits. They actually do the north face, I think it is, of Ben Nevis, which is one of the hardest rock faces.
Well, they do a 40-mile on the final week sort of thing. They do a 30-mile walk, and they've got to do it in 8 hours or something, and that's all across like the Marshlands and whatever, Brecon Beacons or something like that. I can't remember where it is. And it was actually interesting because some of the lads on it were like saying they'd left school, got into like office jobs and that, and were like, no, I don't want to do this. I need to do something with my life, and join the Commandos, Royal Marine Commandos. Yeah, and a lot of them passed. The pass rate's not very high, but most of them passed on this. And it was bloody brilliant because one of the lads on there, his dad was a Royal Marine Commando, but his dad didn't pressurise him into it because he left school, got a normal job, and didn't like it, and thought, I'll go for the Royal Marine Commandos. And his dad presented him with the green beret at the end because they give him it straight after doing the 30-mile walk. And that, and his dad had got his green beret on, and he presented his son his.
Yeah.
And it was bloody interesting program watching, what these lads are, have sort of gone, I don't like what I'm doing, I'm going to do something better, and gone into a career into it.
My dad told us a story about, like, I think it was round about the time that Saddam Hussein just came into power, where it was like the first Gulf War, as it were, and he was seconded to Kuwait, and basically they didn't even know why they were there. They were just told that no, you need to go to Kuwait. And they were right on the border with Iraq, and basically what they were told to do for about a month or 2 months was to find the biggest rocks that they could, dig a hole, bury the rock, mark it, and that's what they did. Just created dummy minefields. That's what they did for like the whole 2 months that they were there.
Yeah.
But it never came to anything. It de-escalated as quickly as it sort of rose to the surface.
Yeah, but it was just, watching some of these young lads and then watching they like got a guy who was in the Commandos during World War II, and he was got his beret on and that lot, and he was telling some of the stories what they got up to, because on this mountain leadership course, that was it.
Yeah.
They do it it's down in Devon, and there's actually a plaque on the rock face, and it's their training, and they've been using it since those days. The history of the Commandos is quite surprising.
Yep.
Yeah.
Have you ever? It was a time team with Tony Robinson. And basically, I can't remember, it was a moor, it was a peat bog. Now, where it was, my head says it was Ireland, but I might be wrong. Yeah. And what happened was it was a Spitfire that was downed in the Second World War.
Yeah.
And basically, they got in contact with the pilot's family, and they said, right, this is what we're going to do. We're going to, we think we've found your dad's plane, and we're going to dig it up. So they basically did the ground survey and whatever, and they started digging into this peat bog, and they found the remnants of the plane, and they actually found one of the guns. So the gun got taken out, and it was just a lump of what looked like mud and rust, and that got taken away. And then they started excavating the engine and the chassis and stuff like that. But as the story unfolded, what had happened was during the Second World War, the people that were designing the planes realised that they shouldn't be they shouldn't be protecting all the plane with armor. They should be looking at the planes that make it back, and everywhere that the plane has got holes in it, just leave that because it can survive flying and protect everywhere else. And one of the things that they noticed with the Spitfires was the vulnerability of the pilot's head to a rear headshot.
Headshots, yeah.
So they created an armored plate on the back of the seat, and that's how they identified that it was this guy's this family's dad's plane. Was the fact that his plane was one of the first to be fitted with this armored plate on the back of the seat. And it was an interesting thing that I think it was his dad that worked for Morris, and he had fitted himself, without the RAF say so, he had fitted a rear view mirror from some of the Morris car so that he could see behind him when he was flying.
Yeah, that was Guy Martin's Spitfire, if you watch that.
Right.
That Spitfire, that was a similar thing.
Yeah.
The mirror on it was taken off the bloke's own car, what he'd got, and he'd fit it on the aeroplane so he could see behind them. And that one was on the beach. That was a beach.
Beach excavation. And they actually the gun that they recovered, they fired. They took it to a firing range. The army
they
basically
found it. Yeah.
They cleaned it up and they got it back in a serviceable condition. That's right. Because it was Guy Martin, it wasn't Time Team. That's right.
Yeah, it was Guy Martin Spitfire. It was. Yeah.
I got the two of them mixed up because they did a Spitfire recovery as well.
That was the most expensive recovery they'd ever done, rebuild of one, because they actually built it to factory specs.
Yeah,
and that was unbelievable. I think that was a Mark 1 Spitfire, I say, it was an early Spit.
That's what got him interested in the Merlin engine, because he ended up buying a Lancaster Merlin engine.
Yeah, did you hear what he did with it in his garage?
Yeah, he sent it through the door of a lorry and then into an office.
Yeah, wrecked the stairs in the garage and everything. Because it ran off
unbelievable.
On it. Yeah, that was a brilliant program, that is. But I do like me, history program as well. Sorry, Andy, if we're boring you.
Andy, I've
got a dog laying on my lap, like it ain't hot enough.
It's quite surprising at the minute. We've got two bookends in our curtain ends. Both our cats are sat on top of the curtains rail, and they've been sat either end of it all bloody day long, because I've got the front windows open a little bit and that. So they've just sat up on the bloody curtains all bloody day long.
Do any of you watch follow the Paris Dakar rally?
I've watched stuff about that.
I will turn it on and watch it.
Yeah,
I watched Charlie Boardman tried doing it, didn't he? One year he did it. I
started following a guy on Instagram called Lyndon Posca, and he basically builds custom bikes that have the full satellite navigation system and so on and so forth. But he enters. It's not actually the Paris Dakar. For the life of me, right this minute, I cannot remember what it is. But it's this event. Basically, you run what you bring. It's not a professional setup in any sense of the matter. You don't have professional teams. You don't have professional backup. You basically have to run from one stage to the next. And this guy, it's like he basically sold his house. He basically stopped working because he was sitting in an office and he thought to himself, you know what? This whole working carry-on's not for me. And he did this rally, and he placed very high in it, and it got him recognition within the industry. And he went back to his job, and he was sitting in the office, and he had the pressure. It was quite a high pressure job that he was in, and the pressure of the job. Hi, the military biker. How you doing, Stevie? Listen, man, I'm just going to fire this straight in. you fired it in. You fired it in last night, pal. If you want to come on, if you've got time to come on, I would thoroughly appreciate it if you did. Yeah. So what happened was, Lyndon was sitting in his office, and he was a young guy, and the stress of his job and what he had just done and achieved, he was having a heart attack. And it was one of those life-affirming moments when he decided, you know what, this is not for me. He chose a different path, and the path was he now builds bikes and he now promotes the off-road experience. And it's something I never considered, but see, when you look at these people that do it, like Baja and like the likes of the Paris Dakar, and these are a different breed of people altogether.
Oh yeah, it's surprising how many are out there. Like I say, even with that program I was on about with the Royal Marine Commandos, young lads on that.
Yeah,
they left school, got a normal 9 to 5 job, and just thought, this ain't for me. I need something more in my life, and went and joined the Royal Marines. It's there is people out there like that still who go hunt for the adventure and everything. So.
I mean, like, what's wrong and what's right in life? It's like who's anyone to judge? At the end of the day, it's like the way I get the way I understood it was like we were all cavemen at one point,
Yeah.
so we were all sitting in caves, and the three of us sitting here just now, I could have sat and said to myself, you know what, guys, I'm happy. I'm sitting here in the cave. I'm warm. I'm dry. I'm fine. Matt, you might have said, you know what, I'm hungry. I'm going to have a wee look about.
Yeah.
Andy, you might have turned around and said, I want to know what's over the other side of that hill.
Yeah.
That's sums up humans in a nutshell.
Well, yeah, it's always seeking that adventure, isn't it? And discovery, the next discovery.
It's like, what's happening over there? Do you know what I mean? It's being an inquisitive mind. Some people are content with what they've got, and will never seek anything other than what they do have. And other people.
Because I tell you what, I watch a lot of is they're on YouTube. Is Nautilus Live, and it's basically this doing the seabed, going around with the UAVs. Well, the underwater vehicles.
Yeah.
And that's bloody fun watching that, because when they come across a new species of like fish or whatever, and they're mesmerising. Some of the creatures they've found on the seabed still to this day. But as I say, we know more about space than what we do what's in the bottom of our own oceans. And that's like the last stage of discovery.
What was it a squid or something like that was filmed around the legs of a oil rig or something like that?
Yeah.
And it was like it's never been filmed before, and it was like it was the biggest that had ever been seen.
Well, it's like with a giant squid, weren't it? It was that guy in Japan. They've been reporting because they've seen the marks on whales and that.
Yeah.
And they thought, because obviously the old sailors' stories of the giant squid sinking the ships and all this lot, and this Japanese guy went out and found him, didn't he? He sort of sent this bloody camera down, sort of thing, and next thing you saw, well, this bloody giant squid come up and grab hold of it, and it was like one of the few footages of capturing the bloody thing, on film. Well, like I say, we know more about space than what we do with our own oceans.
I know. Well, I think most of what we know about space hasn't been released yet.
Well, interesting thing.
If you look at Bob Lazar.
Well, interesting thing. I don't know whether you've seen this recently. China picked up some radio signals like pulsars. They released it on their space magazine, sort of NASA sort of thing, and within 2 hours they took it off there.
Yeah.
And they're saying what was in this signal they picked up. Have they managed to decrypt it? what was in this signal.
Yep.
It's like NASA have suddenly decided that they're going to take an interest in, an unidentified aerial phenomena, not UFOs.
Yeah.
They're calling it unidentified aerial. And why has the military started releasing videos of unidentified aerial phenomena?
Because they have to. Because they've reached their classification age, so they have to be released. What they're releasing is the stuff that pilots had reported 25, 30, 40 years ago.
Well, no, I'm talking about the recent stuff to release. You know what Pentagon confirmed?
Yeah.
From the aircraft and the boats, the ships.
Yeah.
And that, and it's like, are they now sort of slowly going, well, actually, aliens have been here, or aliens are visiting us, because we're now at that stage of there's that many people believe they're out there that they know it's not going to cause a mass panic like it would have done in the 40s and 50s.
Yeah.
Because of the information. It's like just recently near us, there's a place called Huffwaite near us in Nottinghamshire. And if you look and have a Google, they've had a load of UFO sightings recently around the area. It's become a bit of a hotbed. And people have been recording it and getting it on the cameras and everything because obviously everybody's got a camera in the pocket now, haven't they?
That's exactly it.
So they can't cover it up as much like they used to be able to because we've got these in the pocket.
Yeah.
And that's why I think, and it's interesting, China picked up these radio pulses coming from space. They announced it on the website, and then about 2 hours later, it disappeared off the website. And they're saying what was in these pulse signals, what they received and that. So it's interesting how we're, we are not, Well, they've even said that. You look at how many stars and galaxies are out there.
Yep.
We're already identifying, planets what are in the habitable zone, the Goldilocks zone, as they call it, and that. And we can't be the only civilization out there floating on a bloody planet around a rock.
I think we would be very, very naive of us to think that we were the only civilization. My God, this opens up a massive, a massive debate about something other than. It really does. I don't.
The only thing I
wouldn't dispel anything. I would not dispel anything.
The only thing I'm going to say is have a look of the Book of Enoch to do with the Bible and what Enoch supposedly he went up into the heavens on a chariot of fire. Yeah, it's all to do with the ancient astronaut theory and the fact that there were a civilization on this planet to do with the pyramids and everything and all that lot prior to humans sort of thing. And are we, have we got the alien DNA? I know it sounds daft. Our DNA, has it got the, is it sort of an alien DNA structure and things like that? It's all to do with, but the Book of Enoch, if you ever read of the stuff he was describing, and so, he went on a chariot of fire up into the heavens.
If you look at the timeline of human civilization, and you look at from monkeys to humans, the evolutionary gap between Neanderthal and human is too big a leap. If you were to look at it, and that's what they're saying is there may have been some sort of intervention in between. Whether that's proven or not, it's
well, going back to the Sphinx and the pyramids and that, they've actually worked out and dated them older than what there was, and they reckon no, there was no human civilization around before that, before those days, but they uncovered a place, and they've done the carbon dating and everything for it, and it does date back to the date what they're actually saying because. If you look at the Sphinx, it's got water erosion lines around it.
My missus just turned the wrong button off.
So,
I thought it was a show starting, Andy.
I'll be back.
But yeah, I was watching. It was William Shatner was on Ancient Astronaut or Ancient Aliens or something on one of the History channels on Sky, and he was on there, and they were saying if you look at because Enoch doesn't really appear in the Bible much, you know, he's in there, but he's not in there as much. But if you look at, because when they found the Dead Sea Scrolls, one of the main things they found was the Book of Enoch was repeated over and over and over again. So it was a very important text, piece of text, because it was repeated over and over again. The Book of Enoch, and if you look at him, he sort of went on, like I say, a chariot of fire into the heavens, and basically knelt before God, who got up off his throne. Well, hang on a minute. That means he's gone up in a spaceship to dock with another spaceship. Walked into the spaceship, and there's been an alien, or God, sat there, and he's knelt before him, he's got up and come over and greeted him.
Have you ever heard of Ayahuasca or Ayahuasca? It's actually it's a toad, a poisonous toad that ancient tribes. I'm not sure what the tribes were, but they discovered that the poisonous venom of this frog, if they consumed it, produced hallucinogenic properties, and apparently if you take ayahuasca or ayahuasca or whatever, I can't remember what it's called. I actually saw it on Joe Rogan, and he was talking about it with Bob Lazar, and it gives you an insight into you visit this transcendental place. You meet these other beings. What they are, I don't know. Because I've never done it. I've never researched it. I don't know. I can't verify it. I can't deny it either. But what I do know is that the amount of atoms that are in this universe is set. The amount of atoms does not change. It does not increase, and it does not decrease. So when somebody passes away, the amount of atoms in this earth does not decrease. So
that's like Andy. Sorry.
Who passes someone a Corona and don't put frigging lime in it? I've sent it back to do it properly.
Oh, I know that's.
I hope you've had your vaccines. Getting past Corona, but it's surprising now how this unidentified aerial phenomena, as NASA are calling it, and everybody else, not UFOs as we know it. I think in the next few years we're going to be hearing stuff. Because
I definitely do, because, and I'll tell you why. If you've researched or what. Well done. That was expertly done. Well done. I like that. The lime in. Well done. Spot on.
Pre-cut lime in the bar fridge. You know what I mean? They like it ain't hard.
Yeah, you can't. Andy, you just can't get the staff nowadays.
I'm wasting all my time with the training. Should be for sale.
I'm glad I'm far enough away not to get hit.
Sorry, Andy, we're talking about UFOs now.
You'll be up to Scotland, mate, in about 20 minutes. I'd watch it if I were you.
and I would probably deserve it as well. That's fair enough. So Bob Lazar, if you research Bob Lazar, and he says that whether it's been verified or denied, he said that there's at least 7 aircraft, unidentified aircraft within Area 51.
Yeah.
And they are multi-layered metals. Some of the metals haven't even been identified. Some of the techniques of how the metals have been layered together, the processes of how they're layered together, hasn't even been created yet. But it's more the propulsion system.
Yeah.
The propulsion system, if they can replicate the propulsion system, it would negate the need for fuel at all.
Well, the other on this thing I was on about is it Nick Pope, the guy who used to work for the government over here. You know, in the UFO desk over here. I think it was Nick Pope or something like that. They had him on, and as he was saying, as I said earlier, there's that many galaxies and stars and planets out there, and that what is there not to say that there's a civilization out there what is probably 2,000 years ahead of us?
Yeah.
Who got all this, like you say, advanced technology and that. You know, we can't be. Yeah, they've probably got beer. Yeah.
So
and also they pointed out that because they got William Shatner on talking about it, they actually said that the warp drive technology as such.
Yeah.
They could probably do it now, but they haven't got the energy source to power it, because the way it works is, rather than traveling them faster than light, when you watch Star Trek, it forms a warp bubble around the spacecraft. So what it's doing, it's warping space and time in front of it,
and pulling it through,
and then pulling the spacecraft through, and then obviously the space time is behind them. You know, it closes behind them, sort of thing. So for them, they can travel at those speeds because of it, and they actually reckon that technology is probably available now, but it's just having the power source to power it, rather than faster than light travel. Because effectively, that's what they're doing. They're warping space and time.
Yeah,
because that's the same with the wormhole technology.
But they obviously haven't ridden the Kawasaki H2R.
Yeah, well, yeah. But, yeah, they obviously haven't ridden. But that's where they say it's like you draw a line on a piece of paper. The fastest point from getting A to B on that line on the piece is actually to bend the piece of paper in half.
That's right.
And go straight through.
Yeah.
And you're there.
Yeah.
And that's what they're saying. It's
the fourth dimension.
It won't be so much as a Stargate as such. It'll be more along the lines of Star Trek.
Yeah.
With a warp technology.
That's what they're saying. It's like the fourth dimension, and that's. But you look.
They probably come here and steal all our benefits.
Yeah, they probably are.
Yeah, I know. That's it. That's it. It's like, and why can't you work? Because I'm a Martian. I have 3 arms. You can do more work then.
Yeah, it'd be on District 9, wouldn't it? You know, but it's quite interesting. You know, it was only a couple of days ago I was watching, because it came up on my YouTube thing, because I followed Sky History on YouTube. And it came up with one of the episodes, and I thought, I'll go on Sky and have a look at that properly. And it was quite interesting what they were saying about it. Yeah. And, you droop. But like I say, this is the thing about the sea. You know, a lot of these UFOs are seen dipping in and out of the water.
Yeah. That was one of the footage that was shown from a fighter pilot.
Yeah, he dropped down into the water and was skimming in and out of the water. Because at the end of the day, you think you need a vehicle what's sealed to travel through space, so it can travel through bloody water. Yeah.
It's all interesting stuff, and who knows?
Sorry,
and I think
I've heard it off again.
No, it's not. Matt, it's not. It's
Andy's looking perplexed.
It's interesting. It's interesting stuff, and like I honestly think that our government for sure do not tell us half of what they know.
No, and that's what I say.
Or even reported. No, because because they probably don't want to panic. I don't doubt for a minute that there hasn't been some sort of
panic people now.
Do you think in this day and age there hasn't been some sort of contact?
And that's what I'm saying about
firmly believe there has been. I firmly believe there has been.
We are all
rolling waiting.
Yep, I'm just going to bring him in.
I think because we've
had
all these...
how you doing?
Hi, Roland.
Hey guys, how are you?
Good to see you, buddy. How you doing?
He's on Roland's on TV. Yeah, sorry. Because we've had all these UFO films come out since the Roswell thing, you know, and that lot, and everybody's now carrying these things around in their hands, the camera, and people are now going, well, hang on a minute, you know, you can't tell us we ain't been bloody visited or are being visited or whatever, you know, because look at all the bloody incidences out throughout the world where you've got cities where they've had lights going across the cities and like thousands of people have captured it all on video, you know, all these lights, and they can't explain what they are and that. It's like people are at the stage now of, come on, just tell us the frigging truth. Yeah. Well, nobody's going to panic. You know what I mean?
Do you study or have you ever sort of paid attention to what Elon Musk is doing?
Yeah.
Right, so like the whole Skynet thing, the whole
the old
the satellites, Starlink, right?
Yeah.
Skynet, that was a Freudian slip there because it gets to the point of what I'm trying to say. So basically, he's sending a whole blanket of satellites that his utopia is to have the whole of the world covered by satellites that he can provide rapidly fast internet throughout the whole world. And this is what this is what he wants, right? Now, so you look at that as an entity, and that's fine. So you also look at the Neuralink that he's creating as well. Now he's already impregnated a pig with spinal injuries with a Neuralink processor that they can actually program and control certain parts of this pig using this Neuralink processor. Now, if you've got a Starlink and you've got a Neuralink, where does that lead? If that Starlink can control a Neuralink in somebody's brain, that's Terminator.
Yeah. So anyway, Roland, how are you? Sorry.
Not too bad. Not too bad.
How's the weather over there?
It's been rubbish. Today looks like it's good though.
Well, you'll be pleased to know we've had our hottest day of the year today at 30 degrees.
30 degrees?
Yeah. 33. Was it 33, was it?
I had 33 air temperature.
33 is not too bad. That's sort of just take your jumper off stuff.
89% of humidity.
That's fine. It's the humidity down here that's the problem.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, no, we've had it really wet, really cold, really windy. Hasn't been inspiring to get up on the bike. That's why I haven't put it on my channel.
No.
During the winter months, I pretty much just shut down my channel and kick back in again in springtime.
Well, you see, I'm missing your bike.
I can see that, yes.
Yeah. It's 14 degrees and raining here today, Roland. So much riding here today as well. But we are picking up for the weekend. So I'm hoping Sunday. Tomorrow I've got a couple of things on that I can't ride. So Sunday I'm hoping to get back out on the bike. So.
Yeah, well, we got a nice clear day today by the looks of it. So I'll probably get out on the bike. I won't do anything on video, but I'll go for a good ride. But so that's been my deal.
Sometimes it's good just to get out and ride and not have to record, and not have to produce or perform.
To be honest, that's what I enjoyed yesterday when my camera started playing me up. Because in the end, I just turned it off. And just went for a local run.
Next video yet. I mean, the one I put up, the 20-minute video I put up the other day took 6 hours to put together.
Bloody hell.
Because I'm going through 3 different cameras.
Cameras, yeah, and you got hundreds of hours of footage as well, haven't you?
I own 2 cameras. Steve behind me is running the camera, so I'm trying to match up what he's recorded with what I've recorded. Yeah, I'll work. Like I say, I'll get started on one tomorrow.
What about you guys? How you been? All right?
Yeah, I was out on my little thing yesterday. My camera decided to play up, so I just turned it off. I went for a little local, but I got back and I tell you what, yeah, you seen that witch on Wizard of Oz? I'm melting. That was me. Friggin' hell, it was. I got my bikie jeans on, with summer jacket on, and a t-shirt, and my helmet, and my gloves.
No way I would go out today in the heat we had down here.
No, I was planning on going out today on it, and I just thought, no, not after yesterday. But there is no way, because I'd just come back it'd be just be a wet puddle on the seat. You'd find me bike parked up on the side of the road with a wet puddle next to it. You know, that'd be me on the side of the road. It's way too hot. So.
Not a lot for me, Roland. Just been working very, very hard at the moment, so that's pretty much been it. As I say, I'm going to try and get out on Sunday with Lockwood, so try and get a couple of us out together for a wee sort of group run, go somewhere and stop off for a chat and a bite to eat.
Well, if you can pass the word around, and not that it matters because I don't have that many subscribers, but pass the word around that I pretty well much shut down during winter. I'm going to put up a little video stating that.
Yeah. Well, I'll be seeing that lovely bike of yours. One of them.
I see that.
I've looked at it in all the different colours, and sorry, that's the best colour.
Yeah, I agree.
It really is. I've looked at it in all the different colours, and it's like, no, that is the best colour.
Yeah. You'd have to get yourself one.
I know, that's why I've got the picture up.
Yeah.
Because that's what I want now, is one of them.
It's either that or a ZX14R, one or the other.
Oh, yeah.
Well, no, it's either that or a gold wing, but I'd sooner go for that.
Oh, yeah.
I just love that bike.
If you want a bike to perform, you want one of those.
Yeah. No, I just love the look of it. I just think it's a beautiful looking bike. I really do. It just appeals to me, that thing does.
Yeah.
I just love the design of it. You know, they got that. For me, that's like a bang on bike. It's absolutely gorgeous.
I can only agree with you, mate.
Yeah. It's one. When I saw yours, I immediately fell in love with it.
Yeah.
You know, like Zed said, you walk around bike shops and you fall in love with your bike.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. It's just something that appeals to you about that thing. Honestly.
Yeah.
I just think it's a beautiful looking piece of kit. I really, really do.
Yeah.
It's like the design team on that just got it right. So for me, anyway.
There's nothing better than when you look at a bike and you think to yourself, I couldn't have done that any better myself. I mean, there's been a load of bikes that I've owned that I've added to, and I'll say for right now, I'm maybe not to everyone's taste. Maybe the enhancements that I put on the bike weren't to everyone's taste, but I just felt that they were necessary. Because I think a lot of times when a bike manufacturer produces a bike and it gets from the actual prototype to the production model, they lessen the quality of the bolts, they lessen the quality of the fittings and brackets and so on and so forth, which is the first thing that you probably have to do. You own a bike for 5 years, you see the oxidization starting to happen on the bolts and the brackets starting to just pit slightly and so on and so forth, and you have to replace them. But every so often you get a bike where you look at it and you think, you know what, they've not skimped here.
Yeah, that S109, that Suzuki.
They're very, very well built, good quality item.
It's one of those bikes. If I got it, I wouldn't do a thing to it apart from clean it. You know, and HF50 to it, because to me, it doesn't need anything doing to it. you know, it just looks so bloody. Yeah, like I say, I've just got a thing for that bike. So.
You ever ridden one of them, Zed?
No, I haven't.
So is that.
You would not be disappointed.
Yeah,
I can assure you. Yeah.
Yep.
But,
I haven't.
yeah.
It's like what's it in sort of relative terms to the ZX? What's the riding position like? Is your feet are slightly further forward? Is it slightly more relaxed? It looks.
Your feet are it's a forward control bike. But because it's, I mean, you couldn't have high bars. That's why it's got low bars, because the front's quite a little way away from you. But the ergonomics of it is pretty comfortable to just sort of sit on and just plod along the open road. Really,
it's a mile, won't you?
Yeah,
and that's I think I've spoke about it in a few of my vlogs. It's like in Roland, you'll know this yourself with the ZX14. Yeah, you can ride it in a certain way, but it just begs to be ridden in another way. It's like it begs to be ridden fast, and like when you do it, rewards you in spades. But to have a bike like that in your garage as well, where when you want to go out for a ride and just chill and enjoy just the moment. I think sometimes with the ZX14, the moment's like 100 yards up the road because you're traveling down that fast. If you can understand that, it's like that bike kind of brings you back into the sights, the smells, the feeling, the living in the now, as opposed to living on the edge, as it were. I think that.
I know you can shift though, can't it, Roland?
Sorry, what was that?
Sorry, I was saying it can shift. You can move that thing.
Oh yeah. They're slightly quicker than the 600cc Super Sport class.
Yeah.
So not too bad.
Did you get a chance to open up the GS's, Zed, at all?
We did when we took them through the Clyde Tunnel, and what I found was the power delivery. The power delivery was so linear. It was lovely.
They've got so much torque.
Yeah, I think that was the thing about it. It's like it was just like the way it pushed you along the road. It was so unexpected. It was frightening to say the least, because I thought that as soon as I opened the throttle on these bikes, I was just going to get shaken to death. See when you've got a preconception about a bike, and like even an engine, the boxer being the BMW, it's like you kind of when you sit on it, that's your initial thought. One, I thought it was going to be a heavy bike. Two, I thought it was going to be hard to handle. Three, I thought that it was going to be very, very vibey when you started to push on. And four, the last three things that I stated were all wrong.
Yeah.
It was totally the opposite.
Sorry, I called that the S109. It's the M109R. Sorry.
Yeah, it was totally the opposite, Andy. I found it to be, and I know that one of the boys is on the ZZR forum, and I actually commented on Instagram about how flickable the GS was, and he said, as an engineer, you should know about the fulcrum point and the wider. I said I did. I think I did happen to realise that the handlebars were slightly wider than the ZZR.
They're a metre wide.
Yeah,
so you can count the steer on.
I thought it was a lovely riding position. I meant to ask Robert when he was on, because I'm thinking to myself, my arms are long anyway, as you well know. I thought maybe Robert would have struggled with the riding position.
The thing is, we've sort of raised them up, pulled them back, so they've got a 35mm lift and a 25mm back.
Yeah.
We're slightly shorter than yourself.
I thought for myself, I don't know whether it was the way the bike that I had, the suspension was set a wee bit high, but I felt as if my bum was riding towards the front of the tank. I would have liked to have been able to sit.
The way to counter that is because the seat, you can raise the seat up.
Can you raise the front of the seat though? Can you raise the front and the back independent?
What you can do is you put the front of the seat in high, the back of the seat in low, and it levels it.
That's what I would have liked, because I felt as if I was getting pushed slightly towards the front of the tank, and I kept on trying to correct myself while I was riding. But what I noticed, because like when I was going through the Clyde tunnel, I was holding with my fingers and I was just side to side, and the bike was just like rolling, and I could see Robert looking in his mirrors, and he must have saw the headlight, because I was just doing that behind him, and then the two of us stood up, and the bike felt very, very planted, very, very steady.
It's weird when you stand up on them, because it feels really secure, because they're designed to be stood up on.
Yeah. Obviously because of the foot pegs as well. The foot pegs are that wide that it gives you a good surface area to push down on. But where they were most surprising for me was roundabouts. Weren't an issue. It's like if I'm getting into a roundabout with the ZZR, you have to position it. You have to have the right speed, the right entry to get it. With the GS, it was like intuitive. I actually probably, if anything, from what I thought the bike was going to do to what the bike actually had to do, I had to at one point stand the bike up slightly because it just wanted to get in and round.
It wants to go round. That's the thing. They want to tip it.
Yeah, 100%.
No bother.
I was so impressed, and like, you know, that way where you got off, you've got like I say, a preconception about something, and you step off and you say to yourself, "Shame on you for thinking that way." You know that? Do you know that way? It's like whether it's I've done it with sports bikes as well. It's like, oh no, it's vibey, it's this, it's that, and then you ride it and you're like, God, you know what? I get that now. I understand it, and that's what I did, and that's what I kept on saying to Robert on the way home. That bike makes so much sense. It makes so much sense. You could sit in that bike and do millions of miles and love every one of them.
You know, they're really good at everything, but master of none.
Yeah.
And you know, if you think for what we do, touring all around Europe, Scotland, wherever, you ain't going to find anything better.
Yeah. No, I
totally. You can keep going.
Yeah. I totally agree. The only price point, that's the sticking point, isn't it? Really, unless you are going down the PCP, and I'm not really keen on doing that for the simple fact that I don't want to ride a bike that's never probably going to be mine, and you're kind of sort of babying it because you're looking after it for somebody else.
Yeah, the thing is with the GS and the PCP is, would I want to own that bike out of warranty? No.
So that's a fair point as well, and that's a fair point for consideration.
That bike out of warranty, you're looking at £1,400 for a headlight, £2,500 for a suspension system, £1,500 for clocks. Would you want to own that bike out of warranty?
So that's
before that 3-year warranty is up, that bike is gone, and I'll have a different one or a new one.
Yeah. That is a fair point, and it's because I mean, like, God, how so like that TFT screen? How much is it for that TFT screen? The dash?
Yeah, £1,200 to replace
straight away.
Yeah,
and that's just if the power system goes or something like that. That's
it's not money. It's peace of mind with their warranty as well, which is good.
Yeah. So where do you think BMW, or where do you think they place that bike in the market? Who is it they're aiming for when they're delivering that bike?
Personally, I think they're aiming for people like myself. You know, you're in your 50 or you're 50. You've got disposable income.
Okay.
You can afford it. You're doing tours. You're spending time away on it, and that's who they're aiming at.
Yeah.
And think, you know, if you look at a lot of GS riders, I think a lot of them are, you know, are between 40 and 60.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't know. It's hard to say because it is a fun bike. You know yourself, you can have a lot of fun on it.
Yeah.
A lot of fun in many different ways.
Aye.
But there is a stigma around them, I think. But I think, you know, are you going to find a 20-year-old on one? Probably. Are you going to find a lot of 20-year-olds on one? No.
Like the stigma's unjust, to be quite honest. And I would have probably, before actually sitting on it, I probably would have encouraged the stigma to continue as well, just for ribbon BM owners. But when you sit on it, you kind of, you have that, you understand.
W's had 40 years to get that bike, right?
Yeah.
40 years.
Yeah.
And they've done it.
I don't understand this, guys. Sorry. I've just been on the Suzuki UK webpage looking for the 109R. It's not on it, but it's on the Australia page for the 2022 version of it. So I don't understand why it's not on the UK one.
Perhaps they're going to get it first.
It's maybe where it's getting launched. It may be that it's a secondary model to the UK. It may be they'll see how it performs elsewhere.
But to be honest, I've just looked at the 2022 model, and it's not as nice as the one what Roland's got.
I mean, I'm probably looking to get rid of that GS maybe next year or the year after, because if they're bringing out what they say they're going to bring out, the GS is going to be a 1300, but the GSA, which I've is going to be a 1400, 180 brake horsepower. And that's going to be a machine.
Right. So, are you sticking? Are you sticking with BMW, or are you?
I think at the moment, yeah, because there's nothing out there that
just be a straight upgrade.
Does what I want it to do.
Yeah. And the thing about it is like I was mesmerised with the system. See the electronics and that, and like the active suspension. And
you've been on a lot of the roads that we rode. Obviously, you know, single track roads, first and second gear time for hundreds of miles. And I got back, and that bike returned just under 51 miles to the gallon for the time I got home.
That's
the whole trip with the wife on it, the luggage, the first, second, the plane on the good roads. You know, just under 51 miles to the gallon. I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah. That's incredible. It really is.
I don't know how to do it. Obviously, it's got a shift cam, so it's got two cams while you're at lower revs. It's in one setting, and then when you start to pick it up. But even the suspension reads your riding style. If you start pushing it into corner, it adapts to that corner.
So it understands like where your throttle position is going to be. Adapts the suspension.
And obviously, it's got six access sensors. So there's 6 sensors on the bike that determine the speed, angle, and positioning of the bike.
Yeah, but that's what I said to Robert. Is like I was expecting the first time we braked, and like when we came out of the BMW. When we came out of West Coast Harley, we came out of the car park, and then we went up to the traffic lights. The two of us stopped, and like we flicked out of that car park. I was expecting round the corner. That's what I was expecting, and we just went like dee, 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 and we were sitting at the traffic lights, and I was like, bloody hell! I was like, this is like mental. It's like, do you feel how light this is? And Robert's like, aye.
It shouldn't ride like it looks.
No, there's the thing, and that's what made me think about, right, if this is what their GS 1250 does, what does the BMW 1000RR do?
That's a weapon.
And I'm thinking to myself, my God, because if they know how to do what they're doing with that bike, the
RR has got the same electronic suspension system.
Yeah.
It hasn't got the suspension under the GS, different, but it's got the same basic intelligence.
Yeah. I just, it's like
scary, isn't it?
It is, but it's beautifully scary because it puts you into a realm of bikes and possibilities that you wouldn't have considered, but you should consider. You should.
Yeah.
Ted, can I ask you a question?
Yes, you can.
Did it have a button on it for the indicators?
What's an indicator?
Well, most BMWs don't have an indicator, do they?
They don't come on beamers.
Yeah,
No.
they don't come on them, do they?
No.
There's a poor guy at the factory who fits them.
No.
Yeah.
It's like what happens
It's the cars that don't have stalk.
Oh, right, yeah. I just wondered if he got it.
See when you start turning the bars, there's a wee arm that comes out and does that.
A bit like the Morris Mining, and then he fingers. No, I just wondered.
What way are you going?
Yeah. I just wondered. Sorry, Andy. It's just,
hey,
at least you know what they are.
Not leaving indicator on because they're staged indicators. They're really weird. It took me ages to get used to them because you put your indicator on, you're doing normal road speeds, 30 mile an hour, whatever, and you turn a corner. After a certain distance, where you reach 30 mile an hour again, they'll switch off.
Yeah.
But when you're on a motorway and you want to indicate to come off a junction, if you do one quick press, it will give you 3 or 4 indicators as an overtake. If you want to come off at a junction, you're at the 300-yard marker and you hold it over for a second, it will stay on and literally stay on for until you've done the distance.
Right.
And then it will turn itself off. So it's self-cancelling. It's very, very clever.
Right.
I don't know how they do it.
Yeah, well,
Really don't.
just unusual to find somebody who owns a BMW and knows what they are.
Little things like that.
No, it's like
the bike you went out on was 3 weeks old. No, 2 weeks old.
I know.
And, he dropped it day 3.
Oh, but like you were saying, the fact of those, what was it, a £12 bar protector,
and that was it.
£12.
A slight scuff
and a slight scuff on a box, and you're like.
But what he did do was he didn't realise he had the SOS system on it.
Right. And
I thought when it went over, the bike was switched on, but it wasn't. So the SOS never activated. So we've got the bike back out. And I said, "Why don't your SOS work?" He goes, No. I don't think he's got it on it. I said, "It's got the button. It's fitted." So I pushed it, and then within like 15 seconds, we've got some fella shouting at us through the.
Are you okay?
Do you need help? Do you need help? Are you all right? I'm going, yeah, no, it fell over.
Sorry. Oh man, it's like that app as well is like rolling. Do you know anything about like the app that BMW has with regards to like if you go on a journey?
In hindsight, I should have put my phone in the back box because it would have recorded your journey. Yeah. And it would have recorded every single braking point, every single turn of speed.
Every gear we missed.
Yeah, but don't you feel that's a bit like Big Brother's watching you?
Big Brother. The thing is with them GSs, mate, and I'm not being funny, mine's got a tracker on it anyway.
Yeah, I know. But
you know where that bike is every second of the day anyway.
Yeah.
You know what? What does it matter?
No, I know. It gives you that Big Brother's watching you sort of vibe, you know.
Same. As soon as you stick
if you're carrying a mobile phone, Matt,
absolutely
watching you anyway.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean.
You know what I mean, because it's pinging every mast that it goes by, so
no
different. And the fact that most of the sort of mobile phones have got sniffer devices on them as well. So no matter what you're talking about, as soon as you go into Google or whatever, Amazon or whatever, if you've been talking about lawnmowers, what's the first adverts that come up on Google?
Lawnmowers, yeah.
Exactly. So who's listening to who?
Well, it's funny how you're saying, like you said, that £12 crash bar thing what you put on the bike, save the bike. It's funny because it's like mine. I put the saddlebags on, you know, and those cheap handguards. They saved my bike from a lot of bloody damage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's stupid how cheap little things save you big bucks at the end of the day, sort of thing.
Well, my ZZR, I've got RNG bar end weights, which have got like RNG protection on the end of them.
Yeah.
Still have the originals because I'll put the originals on if I ever sell the bike, which I won't anyway. So like ZX9 that I've also got the RNG bar end weights as well, identical to the ZZRs, but I've also got the paddock stand bobbins which protect the rear swing arms as well, which are RNG. And I'm just about to get the frame sliders as well for the Z and the ZX. So you look at it this way as like a frame slider at £100 or a left hand or a right hand fairing that's going to cost you 280 to £300, not even painted.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer.
I'm sorry, if you haven't dropped your bike, you haven't christened it. Because to me, dropping your bike is christening it.
It's really that records everything.
Yeah.
That was from Applecross, or that I think that was going over the sky and stuff. And that records. And the good thing with that app is if you take a picture on your phone, if you stop, it matches it to the app.
Your location. Yeah.
It tells you where it's taken, and it tells you everything from time, height, speed, acceleration, altitude, minimum altitude, maximum altitude 2,249 feet, minimum altitude 176 feet, maximum speed. I'm not saying. Maximum acceleration 1.2 G, maximum braking deceleration 0.9 G, and you can play it all back, and it just tells you absolutely everything. It's scary what they can do.
Absolutely. Recording everything. It's brilliant.
I do think the SOS idea is good though on a bike.
That was £303. It's a one-off payment. £303. They put the SOS button on your bike.
Yeah.
That stays on the bike. So in 10 years' time, if someone else buys that, they get that feature. There's no subscription. It's on there.
That's good.
It sends if your bike, it senses your bike's gone over, whether it's stationary or whether you're riding along. It comes up on the screen, SOS. You have 10 seconds to cancel it with a button. If you don't cancel it, they then it starts talking to you. If you don't answer it, then the medical assistance to where the bike is, they will send.
Because it's like I've got my mobile phone. What 3 words?
Yeah.
You've probably all heard of what 3 words is,
Yeah.
Because in the UK they did a big push. The fire brigade, around Nottingham, all the emergency services were telling people to download what 3 words. So I do think that's a good feature, because it's like me, when I came off my bike, my left foot was trapped underneath it. If it weren't for that bloke coming to pick my bike up, I'd still be laid there on the side of the road waiting until somebody came to pick my bloody bike up.
Yeah.
I could get out my phone, because luckily enough it was in the phone holder and it was close to me. But you know what I mean? It's like, I do like the idea of the SOS. So I need help, something.
Anything on a bike or anything you can download that saves lives.
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, that's why I do
like.
With
SOS as well. If you're out on a group ride like we were up in the Highlands of Scotland, I couldn't tell you where we were. I couldn't pronounce it and tell you the GPS coordinates where we were. If you see an incident, whether it be with say like a cyclist had come off and injured himself, they don't know where they are. If you can actually use that service, and they will still send people out. They will do everything for you. They know where you are, and they will send the people out to you.
Yeah. I do think that's a good idea.
It's not necessarily you that's had the incident. It can be anyone around you.
Yeah. It's a quick, like you say, get a quick emergency response sort of thing.
We've actually been in Switzerland where someone had an accident, and they were trying to figure out where they were to call services and stuff like that. And in that situation, it would have been brilliant. Obviously, you didn't have the bike. It would have been useful. Just push it, and they know where you are.
Yeah.
Good idea.
Well, like I say, yeah. By the way, Roland, I've had a look at the new models. I don't like it. I prefer the older models.
Yeah.
Don't like the styling. They don't look as good. The new ones. So,
I prefer the colour scheme and the setup of the one I've got.
Well, it's weird. I've looked at the white one. I've looked at the black one. The black one's quite nice, but it's too black. It's just a black motorbike. It's still got the chrome on it. I've had a look at the red one. All the chrome work they've done in black. It just doesn't look right. The styling on that, the blue one.
Roland, what's the exact colour of your bike?
The exact colour? Of course, it's
weird.
Because it's what do you call it? Pearl.
Has it got a pearlescent through it? Is it a pearlescent through the lacquer, or is it through the paint?
I think it's in the top coat.
Okay.
And so it kind of changes a little bit depending on the light.
Lights, I'm going to say, you watch some of Roland's videos. It morphs between like a red and a purple and a blue, and it's like depending on the light on it.
That's nice.
And it,
Like
it's like my Z in the winter's black and the summer's blue.
Yeah.
You've got the blue flakes, Midnight Sapphire Black it's called, and it's like blue. It's got a blue flake through the black paint. It's through the lacquer, but it's like in certain light it's blue, well, there's some of the videos where I actually deliberately look down at the tank and whatever, and you can see the sparkle of the flake through it, and it's incredible.
You watch some of Roland's videos, Stu, you'll see when it, depending on what light he's got that bike under, the colour morphs, and I just that thing is what I want.
That's something to aspire to, Matt.
Yeah, that's why I've got the picture up.
Yeah, something to aspire to.
What's Roland?
There you go. That'll be new promotional gear, guys.
Oh, right. So look for that. Well,
brilliant.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I know I keep going on about that 109, but that was like, do you know how you said, Stu, about a bike leaps out at you?
Yeah. Excellent. I like them.
Yeah.
That's good. I like them. That's brilliant. Feel the throb of the V-twin. Brilliant.
Yeah. Well, it's.
Yeah, the blue's kind of that colour, and at night with lights, it's kind of the colour of. Hang on, what I've got up here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it goes very iridescent.
It's just look. The style of that thing.
Yeah, it's nice.
Just look at it.
Yeah, it's like kind of like an iridescent blue. Hold on,
just
Roland.
Give me a minute.
Keep that up to.
Just give me a minute.
Right, I'm going to go a large screen on that. No, that's.
Look at that thing.
I like that.
Oh God, that's a rolling piece of art.
Nice.
Jesus
Is that what brakes are on that, Roland? Is that like Brembos or?
The same as exactly the same as what they use on the Hayabusa, front and rear.
Okay.
And it's the Hayabusa forks.
Upside down forks, different fork, slightly different fork tubes. So is that right? Slightly wider, it looks. Or is it the same? Just getting into a bigger triple tree.
Basically the same. Yeah. They transferred a bit of gear from the Busa straight through, and then the Busa team re-engineered the engine. And it's our ZX 14Rs are 113 foot-pounds of torque, and this is 118 foot-pounds of torque.
What's the wheelbase on that? Because it looks slightly longer. Obviously, with the rake of the front forks.
Yeah, it is a bit longer. I don't know off the top of my head. I'd have to look it up actually.
What would you say? Riding position between the ZX and that. What would you say? Better, worse? Not worse, but different. Like
I would have to say.
Would you say it's more relaxed?
Definitely more relaxed. Definitely more relaxed. It's the stance if you're going to take it down the track and drag race it.
Yeah.
And we worked out, Zed, the handlebars on that are actually narrower than the handlebars on my Michigan.
Yeah.
Because I looked into the specs on it.
Yeah.
See, it's got. See when you look at the boot, that's like the Busa back end. Just the last wee third is like the Busa back end. It's configured slightly different, but you can see where it derives from. Obviously, like some of its aspects. Obviously, the V twin's totally different, but What about the rear end, suspension wise? What's it running? Is it a monoshock? Is it dual?
Yeah, no, it's a monoshock in the rear. Yeah. Yeah. And you got it's shaft drive as well.
Okay, so you've not got the. That's nice.
So can we take off big screen because I'm going to really need to go and relieve myself in a minute. I'm drooling there, mate.
Are you needing a moment?
I need a moment.
No, do you know what? Do you know what's really nice as well? I love the profile of the slash cuts.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
It's just the profile of the slash cuts at the back end. It's really nice, and I love the way the exhaust wrap round. Is that the stator? Or is that the clutch that's sitting there? Is that the stator
That'll be the stator side? Yeah.
That's nice. That's nice. That's been well thought out.
Yeah, you see why I like it now, Zed.
That's a designer's dream, that.
Yeah, that's why I like that.
No, listen. See when bikes become pieces of art. I look at that as an engineering project, and somebody has sat down and taken a lot of time. That's beautiful. That really is.
I think that's why it appeals to me because I'm an electromechanical engineer and like the beauty. I can see the beauty.
I've done I think 55,000 kilometers on that, and it's all it's had is just oil changes and one set of spark plugs.
Yeah,
and that's it.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Whoever designed that, Suzuki, I hope they got a bloody big paycheck. I tell you. Especially that colour.
I mean, there's quite a few of them around. They're pretty popular.
Oh, yeah, I know. There is over in the UK. I've had a look and I know how much they're selling for in the UK.
Yeah, what are they?
You get excited. You need a roll of tissue.
Mate, I just love that bike. Sorry, it just makes me quite emotional.
That's what I'm saying, Andy. Is like he asked me to take it off the big screen because he was having a moment, and then I take it off big screen to get pictures of it. I'm like, what's going on here? Are we on Pornhub here?
No, it's just that bike. He just
I know.
I just fucking love the thing. Yeah,
I can see it.
It's such a beautiful bike.
There was did you see the boy going out in the Triumph Rocket, Andy, when we were down at West Coast? Yeah. What did you think of it?
I like the Rocket.
What did you remember?
I like the new Rocket.
Did you remember I would agree with that. Do you remember the guy pushing the Triumph Bobber past us as well? I liked that. I thought that was a wee bit.
I like
different.
the bike in the showroom as well. You were fondling.
There was a. Did you see the Lowrider S in the Harley shop in Glasgow? I was talking to Burn and Gas about it. See when we. I'm trying to think where we got. Did we get the food upstairs? Was that upstairs for the food?
Yeah.
See, downstairs, just underneath the staircase, around the back end, there was a Lowrider S turbocharged Harley, and it was like a one-off, one only in the UK, and that was it. But it was a lovely bike, and but you're looking at the price and you're thinking, no, for what it was. The bike in the way out, there was a bike in the right hand side in the way out that the rear wheel, it was like black and red. Black and red's my colours anyway, but the rear wheel on it really caught my eye. It was like special. But I could have walked in and around Harley and walked out pretty emotionless, to be quite honest. There was nothing that dragged me in and would steal my wallet, if you know what I mean. I couldn't say the same about. Oh, nice! I like that. That's Gen 1 model.
Yeah,
that's nice. I'm looking just now at the Tamiya, a model company. They've got a Gen 1 replica. It's about 35 quid in the UK, and you can build it yourself. I quite fancy doing that.
Yeah.
That's nice, though. I like that.
Yeah, they're good. They're good. I didn't know they made them, and I saw them online. I thought, bugger that, I'm getting one. You know.
Yeah.
They don't do an M109R though.
I think they do a Lego one of the GS. I've been toying about getting.
Oh yeah, yeah. That'd be pretty cool.
I think they're about 80 quid. I was like stupid. Lego's really expensive.
Some of the I've seen like the Lego Technics Bugatti Veyrons and stuff like that, and they're funny prices.
Yeah.
Things you can stand on without shoes.
The only thing worse than standing on a Lego is standing on a 3-pin plug.
Yeah, that's kind of.
Yeah. Jeez, done both of them.
Like when you're trying to sneak in your kids' rooms to turn the light off or something.
Yeah. Done that loads of times.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, that'll do it.
I'm looking at this M109 now, and they've got it in red and black. That's my colour scheme's red and black.
Yeah, I don't like the red and black one though.
Oh yeah, I'm a red and black fan.
Yeah.
See, that's what's that? That's a 2020, but that's older than yours, Rolly. I prefer your model. That's too new. They've kind of sort of went away from the essence of the.
Well, that's what I was saying. I was just looking at the 2022 model on the Australian site, and it doesn't even look like Roland's one.
No,
it's horrible. If anything, I'd have to get that. You know,
what's the 2022 one? Is that the grey one?
It's I think it's red and black and grey and somewhere.
Oh, okay, yeah.
They don't do it in the blue. It's weird colours. I think it's blue. Actually, I think it is blue and grey. Sorry, it's not that blue.
No, yeah.
I've just noticed there's one for sale for £8,000 at the moment in the UK. So it's got the sissy bar on the back now.
$8 grand UK. What's that? About 15 here. That's a bit up there. What year is that one that was for sale?
No, it's only got 10,000 miles on the clock, so it ain't been heavily used. I've just noticed it.
Yeah.
Well, it's got the sissy bar on it, on the back of it. It's 9,000.
So that's
2007. 2007.
There's a 2022 there. I don't know if there's any. That's a 2021. That's not too bad. Color scheme wise.
Yeah.
I actually prefer the chrome pipes to the black. I don't like the black.
No.
To be quite honest.
That's 2007 Roland for $9 grand.
Oh, okay.
Sissy bar on the back of it.
2007 for $9 grand. That's a bit up there.
Yeah. Well, bike prices in the UK at the moment are holding the prices anyway because of the import problems.
Yeah.
It's like my bike. I can near enough get the same price I paid for it selling it second hand now.
Yeah.
See, the first thing I would do with that, it's like I would want all that chrome.
Yeah.
See the red, black, and the chrome. I would want all that, the black chrome.
Yeah.
Straight away. Even the bars, the shocks, everything. Yeah. I would want all that chrome because I think that would accentuate the colour of the bike.
I think that's why I don't like them in those colours because they've got rid of the chrome.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If they did the red with all the chrome work, if they kept all the chrome work on throughout the colour range, you know, they've got the black one there with the chrome work on it. But on the red ones, there you go, they've got that one.
Yeah, that particular red's not too bad because that's a real candy red and it's also got a lot of pearl in it. So that's very much like mine. It changes a lot of colours.
Yeah, but I still prefer the blue.
Yeah.
There's so many. There's a kind of bagger option as well. Look at that.
Yeah.
That's different.
What's CC are they?
1800.
1800.
1800.
Yeah.
They must be a heavy old lump.
Yeah, they do. They do weigh, but the center of gravity is very, very low, and they're very, very well balanced. They've got a very wide amount of leaning the bike over before you actually start to feel the weight.
Yeah.
And with a 240 mil rear tire, that kind of really helps support it when it's tipped, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
so it's like any bike though. As soon as you're moving, as the instant you're moving, the weight factor completely goes away.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
So, like any other bike that you could possibly own, what would it be? Money no object. Even rarity. What would it be? Would it be like?
Actually, two of them come to mind. One, the new Z9, the Z9 SR or whatever it is, RS.
Okay.
And another one would be the old classic Honda 754.
Yep.
But they're gone through the roof now. The value of those things are incredible. But I do like the new Z9. I'm yet to take one out for a test ride, but everything I've heard about them has been very good. So, and it might end up being an extra bike shoved in the stable, you know.
Yeah. So, like,
I'm sure you guys
are we talking about this? We're talking about that Z9.
Yeah. Minus the front fairing. I don't particularly like the front fairing.
Yeah. Like that's a die-cast model, but we can go to say something like that.
Yeah, they do it in the original Jaffa color as well, the orange and the metallic brown.
Yeah. See, I've seen a couple of them in the bike shop, and it's kind of an amalgamation of retro and modern technology.
Yes, it is. Yeah,
I totally get that because like there's so many people that buy modern bikes and want them to look like bikes that they've possibly owned in the past.
Yeah.
That's one of the sort of colours that I liked. I like that colourway. I thought that was really nice, kind of black and gold, but it's kind of a sort of not a yellowy gold. It's kind of a really, really nice.
And the other thing to remember is the whole entire 4-cylinder of that engine fits into one piston in the M109R.
Yeah. Yeah, just for the capacity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're apparently quite a good bike. I like the look of them. I know a few people that have got them, but I haven't ridden one yet. But they look very light, and it would be a very nice, nimble 900.
What was the other? What was the other one you were saying? Honda.
The Honda 754.
Honda 754.
I'm gonna have to shoot, guys.
Right, Andy.
We'll see you.
CB 750, I think it is.
See you on the next one.
Yeah, but listen, guys. Anyone that's not following Andy GSA Tractor, get on and follow Andy. He's putting out some absolutely fantastic content. Andy, it was a pleasure to meet you when you come up, pal, and thank you very much for coming on to the live stream. You take care of yourself, sir, and I'll see you in the next one.
See you soon. See you later, guys.
Thank you. Right, so like CB.
Yeah, CB 750. They're known as here.
So let's have a wee look at images.
And it wouldn't surprise me if Honda make a retro version of one of those.
Yeah, they possibly could. Hold on. That's on.
Somebody put about the Honda Valkyrie in the chat, and I'm just having a look at it.
Valkyrie's a good animal too.
Yeah, well, my dad had the Goldwing, and it does look like a Goldwing. But I'm just having a read, and I think I think they're developing a new one.
Yeah, they have.
Yeah.
Go on that. So we've got the.
There you go.
Yeah, CB.
CV
That's
750. Yeah.
That's on eBay just now. What is that? Is that? I think that's maybe just stickers. That is a decal. It's the orange decal kit.
Yeah.
So that's the bike.
Yeah.
Don't make bikes like that anymore.
No, that's
They,
still.
they were our police bikes back in the late 70s, early 80s.
I was going to about say that looks like a 70s bike.
Yeah.
They just have that look, don't they?
Yeah.
But then it's like, see when you look at some of the bikes that were coming out around that time, that they didn't realise the horsepower, they didn't realise the speed that they could produce.
Yeah.
It's like and what happened was the power output of the bikes that they were allowing new riders to ride was far surpassing their riding experience and abilities. That's why we are in the state that we are in just now in the UK with regards to Mod 1, Mod 2, and they're gradually sort of breaking you into the whole sort of, because the capacity of the smaller bikes was such that you could get into a lot of trouble very, very fast.
Yeah.
Back in a second, my green screen just fell on my head.
That's never good.
No.
Over where you are, Zed, what's the deal with learner riders? Are they restricted to a certain capacity?
They're restricted to 125 cc,
Right.
and I think there's if memory serves me, there's a brake horsepower restriction attached to that as well. So I can't for the life of me right this minute remember what that is. So you can basically have a driving license and then do what's called a CBT, which is compulsory basic training, which is like a one day course, which you prove your competency of riding a 125.
Right.
You have to do a theory test, which proves your road awareness and signs and speeds and so on and so forth. So those two things have to run in conjunction. So if you pass your CBT along with your theory test, you can ride for 2 years on an L plate.
Okay.
And then after the 2 years, you have the option of taking your test or resitting your CBT and your theory test and carrying on.
Right.
Or taking, if you're under 25, you would have to do what's called a direct access course, which means that you would take some lessons on a 500cc bike, and then you would sit your test on a 500cc bike, which would then allow you to ride any bike on your license. Or you would then, if you chose not to do that, you could pass your test on a 125 and it would restrict you to so many, I can't remember what horsepower it is, but it's so many horsepower for until you're 25, and then you can basically ride any bike anyway. So many choose to do that because the bikes, I mean, you've got a Kawasaki ZX 300 now.
Yeah.
It's a very, very capable. It's a lovely little bike. I saw one the other day, and it's a great bike, especially and it fits in that criteria of riders under 25. So they can pass their test and they can get a bike that's not far off a 600 size wise. Just the engine capacity is just that slightly bit lower. And that's what I find with bike manufacturers. Bike manufacturers have a brilliant way of massaging the statistics and their bikes to suit the certain sort of criteria that governments and legislation dictates that they must. To the point, and then as soon as they fall within that criteria, they have the ability to push themselves right to the edge of it.
The edge, that's it.
And that's what they do. And I think that's what dictates the bike market more than what I buy, what you buy, what anyone else buys. So I would, for me, There's only one. There's only one. There's only one bike I'm going to show you now. This is
this
the
your
bike.
dream bike?
Yes, yes, it is. This is my dream bike. I'm going to share it on the screen just now. Why is it my dream bike? I'm an engineer. The person who designed and built this bike is an engineer, and he was a visionary. I basically built this in his backyard with friends, with like-minded people. He was using technology that a lot of other bike manufacturers weren't using at the time. He went to Daytona and he competed against Ducati, Honda, and the like. And I'm not going to suspend the add to the suspense. I'm going to put it up. There it is. It's the Britain V1000.
Okay.
That was built by John Britton. John Britton was from New Zealand. He was an engineer, and he built this bike. That bike has a carbon fibre front end, carbon fibre rear swing arm. It's got carbon fibre right next to the carbon ceramic coated exhausts. Now listen to this. Every single fairing is carbon fibre. None of that bike was designed in a wind tunnel. It was designed in his shed. He used all the principles of aerodynamics, but it was designed using wire and soldering, and that actually won races. It competed at the Isle of Man TT.
Yep.
It was ahead of its time. Look. See if you look actually where the front or the front end of where the belly pan is. That's where the monoshock is. You can see the monoshock down below, and then there's then just above the blue exhaust. That's where the steering damper is.
Yeah.
It's like that because like the front forks is not the suspension. It's the front mono. It's got a front monoshock suspension that what's totally different to any other bike. And if you actually go on and look at the Britton story, the John Britton story, how in his, I think it was the second iteration of the bike, he was actually faster than the Ducati on Daytona. And what happened was one of the cylinder sleeves got a hairline crack in it.
Yep.
Just before they were ready to race, and they took it to a bike shop, and it was like a sort of teaching college. And they took it to a teaching college, and overnight they stripped that bike. John Britton hand brazed the sleeve, the cylinder sleeve. Yeah. Rebuilt the engine, and they had that back on the starting line for Daytona for the next day, and it finished second.
So what power plant's in that?
It's a V1000.
Okay. Obviously, they didn't build the engine themselves.
John Britton die cast every single component.
Oh wow, he did. Okay,
the pistons, the engine casings, the whole lot. He did the whole lot. Wow. Roland, honestly, see if you've got like an hour or 2 hours. Please go and look at the story of John Britton and that V1000, because I'm just, as an engineer, as a design project alone, that bike is a masterpiece.
I have got it up here, mate. I've got it up here.
It's brilliant. It's beautiful. And that a bike like that just now, that's £1 million right there.
I mean, the first thing that caught my eye was the completely tune length exhaust.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a bit of that's a bit of work to get.
That's the balance the harmonics. That's all it is balancing the exhaust harmonics.
Yeah.
But like, see, when you listen to John, because like in the documentary, John Britton talks all the way through it, and it shows you some of the failures, because they had a failure of the carbon fiber on the front end. The test rider went out and the front end collapsed on him, and John Britton was gutted because obviously he designed it, but he was manufacturing with he had it was like a reel of cotton, but it was like carbon fiber. And he was doing this well before everyone else was using ABS, polycarbonate, and whatever else, to polypropylene to manufacture their fairings. And he was molding in carbon fiber in the shed of his house in New Zealand.
Yep.
And then shipping it all the way to America to compete against the big boys. Even the Japanese, like, see, when the Japanese were in Daytona, that was the only bike they were photographing.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm a bit of a Britain fanboy.
That's all right.
I'm a bit of a Britain fanboy. I'll stop.
You see, when I keep going on about the Goldwing, the one I'd really love to get hold of is the original, the 1977 GR1000, but the green one, because that's what my dad had. That's what my dad had. That's why I like that bike so much, because it's, and I know a friend of mine, he's just got an older one and is restoring an original 77 one. He's in the middle of restoring it. But he did it in like a green. And that's what my dad had. So that's why I keep going on about the Goldwing. But with the original 77 GR1000. So. Right, hopefully my green screen's going to stay where it is, because what the problem is the fans got behind it and decided to pull everything off the bloody wall.
So see the original Goldwing, I take it wasn't like big faired or anything like that?
No, if you look at it, it's fairly naked.
Right.
But the only thing my dad did, he did put a black fairing on the front of it.
Right, so I've got one here, Matt, and I'll select.
I'll have to sort my green screen out tomorrow. I can't be asked for fucking around with tonight.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's surprising. It's surprising that it went from that to what it
is now. Up. Yeah. Well, my dad's was a 77 plate.
Yeah.
And the only thing he did was the front. He put a black front fairing on it.
Okay. See, that one's a 75 that's on the screen.
They were four-cylinder, those ones, weren't they?
4-cylinder, 4-stroke, 1000cc.
Yeah.
Well, that's the kind of Goldwing I'm on about, not the modern day. The old 77 Goldwing is what my dad. Because there was a Mark 1, which was the early ones, and then the Mark 2 is what my dad had in the 77.
Yeah.
And the only difference was some of the bolts.
That's basically the same vintage as the Honda 754 that I like. Same era.
See, you wonder how the iteration of that bike gets to where
it is now.
You wonder how it's like
chalk and cheese, isn't it?
It's totally. It's like you would think if anything that would be going down the sport line as opposed to the cruiser.
Yeah.
Well, that's the original. That's the original Goldwing. Like I say, the Mark.
That's
1
unbelievable.
And the Mark 2 are identical, apart from they changed some of the bolts on the Mark 2.
If somebody was to show me that, I would not have posted that as a Goldwing.
As a Goldwing,
it would have been a CB something, but it would have been. It wouldn't have been a. It wouldn't have been a Goldwing.
Because I think back then they did a silver wing as well. There's the Goldwing, and my dad had got the Goldwing. He was one of the first to get the Mark, that particular model in the UK.
Yeah.
Well, that's the beastie.
I haven't seen one of those in a million years.
Yeah. Well, that's what my dad had. You see, that's why. So when I go on about the Goldwing, I'm not on about the new one. I'm on about that one.
Yeah.
It's a total different bike.
Yeah.
The new one is more fanciful for 1.5 or whatever it is with reverse gear and panniers coming out of it left, right, and centre. It was when they did the 1100. It went down that line. If you look at the Goldwing 1100,
And I've watched a documentary. I've watched a documentary about a guy who got one of the gold, like the sort of what you would class as a gold wing just now, and he stripped it back.
Yeah.
And like he tried to sort of make it look something similar to that. And I didn't understand at the time because I didn't know about this bike. But now I understand what it was that he was trying to do. Because he's obviously trying to take it back to its lineage. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, where it came from. Because, like I say, it was the 1100 Gold Wing, which came after the 1000cc. That came after, and that was the one with all the panniers and, you know, factory fitted fairing and everything. If you look at the Gold Wing 1100 from that era, you'll notice it looks a bit different.
Now with the latest ones, you get a toaster oven, you get a you get a home theater system, you get a wife in the kitchen, you get everything.
Yeah, if you do a search for the 1981 Honda Gold Wing GL 1100, you'll see how it progressed from that to what it looks like today.
Yeah.
You know, it was the 81 when they stuck the fairing on the front and the saddlebags and everything on the, you know, the panniers and everything on the back and that.
Yeah.
And that's what today's look like is the 81 one.
It does sort of make you scratch your head when you think the Japanese engineers in Honda got a 1.5 foot tall Japanese guy test riding one of these things, you know.
Yeah, I know. Well, my dad, he was an ex-miner and he was about 5'5" or something like that. It was only short arse.
Well, I mean, like
he could ride that.
What was it? The CBX was the 6-cylinder, was it? Was that the CBX, Honda CBX?
I think it was.
Was it? Let me Honda CBX.
Oh,
1000. That was a 6. It was Honda CBX is a 6-cylinder.
6-cylinder, yeah.
Give me a second. Another cornice is ordered for that. It's because the fan's on, it's blowing it around and it's coming unstuck.
Pistons were the size of a 20-cent piece, you know.
Yeah. Share that and share. There we go.
Yeah, that's an engine, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, like what? It's like.
Hey, stick that in the go-kart.
To think that was
the exhaust on it.
To think it was a concept in the first place, you're like, my God, 6-cylinder bike.
Yeah.
At a time that they had solid front discs, not even vented and cross-drilled.
The crankshaft would be like a skipping rope.
I bet. Oh my God. But that probably, if you look at it now, is an engineering masterpiece.
Oh, yeah. Imagine restoring one of those. My God,
my goodness.
You'd be up for some bucks.
My goodness. Let me see this one. This one.
Certainly cool in its day, though.
Look at that.
Yeah.
That's got a whole. That's like a like CBR 1000 front end on it.
Yeah.
Triple exit exhaust.
Yeah.
That one kind of looks. That's kind of Kawasaki-ish. Don't know. Let's get a bit of Kawasaki about that. No, there's actually. I go to. We've got a transport museum in Glasgow, and it's got like a CBX sitting in it.
Yep.
And that and the Ducati 916, that's the two bikes. That's the two bikes that I look at the most.
Yep.
Yeah, but that's why I keep, you know, so whenever I reference to a Gold Wing, I don't mean the modern day one.
Yeah.
You know.
The Batmobile, I call that.
Yeah, well, that's like I say, if you look at the 81 and onwards, that's when it came with all the, you know, all singing, all dancing, peering and
heated seats
and all that crap.
Yeah.
They spoilt it to me.
Yeah.
You know, I never did like the the 81 version. I always preferred the old, the one my dad had, because it was a
I
naked
just, I
bike.
mean, apologies to anybody in the chat that's got one like this, but I just can't get my head around having speakers on a bike blaring at me when I'm riding around. Just nah.
Well, the 1100 was the first one with the stereo on it. It was a car stereo on it.
Yeah.
One of the boys that came up with Andy, who was on the live stream, he had like a Harley, and we met at the West Coast Harley in Glasgow dealership, and I walked all the way around the Harley shop. I've walked around many a bike shop, and one of the things that I said was, not ever have I been in a bike dealership and have I considered what wattage my stereo is.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. And like 6x9 speakers in the rear bags.
Yeah.
And like 400, 500, 600 watt, whatever it is, like amplifiers and stuff like that. I'm like, what?
Yeah. And an 80 amp alternator. Come on, really? Look, they really, if they put air conditioning on it, then I'd be impressed.
I think the Goldwing did at some stage.
Oh, you're kidding.
It's got the heated vents on it or something, hasn't it? The Goldwing has.
Yeah.
It's just no music. It's like internal music. I've got my Senna and I have my Spotify switched on, and when I ride, I've got a riding playlist. I don't deny it for a minute. It's the Venga Boys, the Spice Girls, whatever it tends to be is what it is. Whatever mood I'm in and I'm riding, but I certainly don't want to play music that everyone else can hear. It's my experience. It's not their experience. I'm not giving them the experience. It's mine. So if I'm riding, I want it to. It's all about. It's me. It's me. No, do you know what I mean? It's like I don't want to be riding through a lovely town in Scotland and blaring out music that's going to offend the locals. That's not my style.
It's like,
I don't want to be doing that. If I want to be listening to music, I want to hear it. I don't necessarily want them to be hearing it.
I had the MR2 Roadster at one point, the soft top. And if we had the roof down on that, I just used to have the radio on. Because it was like, I don't want people listening to my music. It's like, I'll put the roof up for that. It's like, I'll just leave the radio on. So that's why I was playing on the radio. Because you feel less embarrassed. You don't want to be zooming along and people listening to like Aqua or the Spice Girls or something like that. I'm a Barbie girl coming through the village, while you're on your big bike.
I think it's like see where I stay in Scotland. There's like in certain areas that you're riding, and J-Mac, who he's put in, I enjoy the sound of the bike more than the music. That is so true. I'm actually going to.
I can't listen to music when I'm riding.
No. I find it too distracting, to be honest, because I've got the Senna and I've got it all linked to my phone and that. And I've tried listening to music. I've tried listening to the radio. And I can't. I end up turning it off because I find it distracting.
It's like there's certain areas in Scotland where it's like the acoustics are such that when you're riding through, visor up, you want to hear the bike as it's coming through, and it's absolutely fantastic. I just think if you've got "Born in the USA" blaring out as you're riding through, it kind of do you know what I mean? It just kicks the whole straight out of the whole ambience of the. Do you know what I'm saying?
I'll show you.
Absolutely.
I don't know if I showed you this, but this was my brother's first bike. The GPZ 900.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
And I'm talking the old Top Gun bike. That was his first one.
They're starting to get up there in value now. A good condition one of those.
Yeah, the original Top Gun bike. Well, that was my brother's first. I'll tell you, I've got a cracking story about that thing. He bought it. He got it 200 yards out of the place at the set of traffic lights, and he dropped it at 0 miles an hour at the traffic lights. literally just riding out the place.
Yeah.
It's like, sort of, oops, pick it back up, carry on.
Yeah, what a bugger. What a bugger.
He didn't damage it, right, because he got all the crash bungs on it, but it was just funny, the fact that it literally got like, 30, 40 yards, if that, and probably 100 yards or something like that away from the place.
So I've actually got to 2 hours and 24 minutes before I've actually realised how to actually post somebody's comment on a live stream. So well done, me. It's cool. Listen, guys, I'm quite happy to carry on for a wee while longer.
Yeah, I'm all right.
You're okay to. Yeah. You're okay to go. I'm quite happy to carry on talking.
It's all right. If I suddenly disappear off camera, it's because my green screen's landed on my head again.
That's fine.
It's held up with blue tack and double-sided strong tape and that. But I think in this weather, it's decided no.
It will do. I stopped doing it because, see, when my GoPro Hero 9, it's I use it for, that's the camera that you're seeing right now, and because I've went to Rev Bomb, then to Simon, and now on to Malone. When I was halfway through Simon's, it overheats, so you need to power it down, power it back up again. So running that, then running the PC, and then trying to run the PC on StreamYard using a green screen. It all goes to
I'm lucky I'm on a gaming laptop, so it's got the processing power to be able to cope with it.
I mean, mine's is like a MSI. I've got an MSI gaming PC as well, but
I just old AMD processor in it rather than the Intel because it's better.
I try and limit what I'm doing when I'm live streaming with regards to.
I've got an Acer AMD gaming laptop, and it runs. My son's got the Intel one, and you know what? When we sat next to each other, his sounds like a bloody Boeing 747 taking off. Because I've got the AMD processor. It's also slightly smaller. Mine is. And mine, you can't hardly hear it.
I think mine's is Intel i5 quad core. It's got like a GeForce NVIDIA graphics card. G4. I can't remember the full name of it, but I do need to update it. There's no doubt about it.
Well, the funny thing is, both my son and daughter had the Intel version. And my daughter decided to spill water over an Intel version, so I got the AMD version, the same one as mine. And it is quite, I tell you, it's quite as anything. Laptops. I also like it because the keyboard lights up as well when I touch the keyboard.
Yeah.
So if I'm using it at night time, I can just sort of tap away quite merrily without having to turn the lights on because you can see the keys. Well, it's a good little laptop.
Oh, that's funny.
Well, yeah, I apologise, but that thing of Roland's, that thing.
No, it's an eye opener. It really is.
It's when I saw Roland's. It's like you said. And I know I keep saying this. It's like when you walk into a bike shop and you look around, and a bike leaps out at you, and you think, "I want that." Well, that happened to me with the Michigan when I saw that. Because I was looking for a little 125, and I know it's only 125. But when I saw the Michigan, I thought I fell in love with it because of the style, because it was my kind of bike.
Yeah,
a cruiser. I'm too old. I'm too fat to be bent over a tank. So it was a cruiser. And then when I saw your rolling this thing, because I don't like nothing against Harley riders. I don't like Harley Davidsons, and I'm not that fussed on Indians. But when I saw that thing, it was like, it's just a styling. It's a beautiful looking beast. So and it's like every time Roland posts a video up and his bike's on, he's like, gotta watch that. I'm not watching it for the ride. I'm watching it for the bloody bike.
That's it. Yeah.
It's like. I don't know. It's just the design of it.
Yeah.
What I say.
This is I'm gonna share this. This is a bike that I owned before the ZZR. This one here. This isn't the bike. It's the same color scheme, same age. It's a Kawasaki ZRX 1200S. It's basically like a detuned ZZR 1200 engine that's in it. It's all detuned for torque, and it's only got a 5-speed gearbox. I had a set of Renthal bars on it, and it was a muscle bike. Is what it is. But what it is a wolf in sheep's clothing, because it was more than capable of keeping up with all the sports bikes in the corners. And the good thing about it was not a lot of car drivers knew what it was. So you know what it's like, Rolly, when you're sitting in your ZX 14. It's like car drivers that have maybe got a bit of power behind them will want to they'll want to sort of challenge you because they think that they've got a wee set of nuts on them that day, and it becomes a bit of a hassle after a while. The ZRX was the total opposite, because they didn't know what the bike was. They didn't know that it did have the power sitting in it. You kind of could chill out and just ride, and it was great.
Can I just respond to J-Mac? Sorry. There's a reason why I don't like Harley Davidsons, and it's because I had a bad experience with my brother. We went into the Harley dealership. My brother was looking at buying the Road King, and we were looking at the Road King, and my brother does not like, well, when he was alive, he did not like spoke wheels. So we asked the guy at Harley, can you change them for billets? The aluminium type wheels. And we got, yeah, we can do that. We can do that. And my brother was going, can you do this to it and do that? And the bloke's going, yeah, we can do that. Can we do that? So we've been in there from about 10 o'clock in the morning. It was now 2 o'clock in the afternoon. With the sales rep, we're going for all this stuff. And he's going, yeah, we can do that for you. You can do this, can do that, can do that. We comes to sit down with the finance guy. And as soon as my brother, the guy at sales rep, mentioned about the wheels to the finance guy, I turned around and went, no, we can't do that. Now, bear in mind, we've been in there from 10 o'clock in the morning till now 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And the finance guy was going to my brother, no, you can't have that. No, you can't have that. And we're going, well, he's just told us we can. Your sales rep says we can have this done to it. We can have that done to it. And I could see my brother getting irate, and I was getting irate because we've been in there for this bloody length of time to discuss buying this bloody Harley. And we got that irate with it that me and my brother just walked out and told him politely what we thought of him, with a few expletive dropped into him, the words in that, because it's basically the sales rep was talking bullshit, and we told him that straight to his face. You've just promised us all this, yet your bloke in that office there is saying you cannot do this for us.
Yeah.
And we just basically told him to, it's late now, we told him to fuck off and just walked out the dealership, and we've never been back since because of the experience we had with him.
Yeah.
And what made me laugh is the following day, my brother went out and bought a V-Rod, V-Star, Yamaha V-Star, is it?
V-Strong.
The V-Star or something they call them.
Oh, okay.
It looks like Harley. It's a cruiser. Hang on. I'll see if I've got a picture of it. Well, it might be me sat on it. I'll see if I can duck down because it's a bit of a weird picture. Let me move out of the way. He bought that. You see me in a rabbit suit? He bought that for me. And they did everything he asked. Yeah. And it's the experience we had with Harley. It's like my green screen's coming down again.
Slowly but surely.
I give up.
One animal that is underrated, which I had, and I probably shouldn't have sold it, but I did, was the XZ 550. which is one of these. I don't know if you've seen one of those.
No. It looks nice.
Not a bad little bike.
Yeah, it looks nice.
Water-cooled V-twin Yamaha.
Yeah.
They were pretty good in their day.
Yeah.
My
original bike was this. It was a ZZR 600E1, and it was an exact same colorway as that bike there. And just recently, because I still know the guy who owns it, it just hit 70,000 miles.
Wow.
Which I think I deserve a pat in the back for my maintenance skills for getting it there. Because I did most of the miles on it. I had it from 2009. I would actually still own it just now, but I bought the ZRX, which was the blue bike that I showed you before, and I had the ZZR. And see the contrast between the two bikes. When I went from the 1200 on back onto the 600, I felt as if every time I went onto the 600, I was going to blow it up.
Yeah, right.
Do you understand that? Because I was having to rev the bum off it to get the same. So I kind of sort of, I thought, no, I want to protect this bike. I'm not going to ride it. So I sat it in the garage and like I taxed it, I insured it, I MOT'd it, and I wasn't using it. And then I thought to myself, you know what? Someone else deserves to own this thing and get the use out of it. So I decided to sell it. And the guy who wanted to buy it said, if you put an MOT on it, I'll buy it. So I rode the bike to the garage, and my bike that I've got just now, the ZZR 1400, it was sitting in the forecourt.
Yep.
So while I was waiting in the wee Z getting MOT'd, the big Z tempted me to trade the ZRX in. And that's the lineage of bikes that I've had, and that was how it came about. The big bike that I've got just now, when I owned the 600, I always thought in my life that the 1400 would always be out of my reach.
Yep.
And it was just it was a sliding doors moment. It was just one of these things that everything fell into place. The ZRX, the price of the ZRX was actually increasing at the time, and I got more I probably got more for it than I should have done. But the simple fact was a lot of people were buying the ZRX 1200S and converting it to the R, which is the Eddie Lawson race replica.
Yeah.
Are you aware of what the ZRX 1200R is? I'll give me a wee second. I'll go on to ZRX 1200R. As soon as you see it, you'll know exactly what I mean.
Yeah.
So that's the ZRX 1200R. So they were buying the half-fared bike and converting them into them. So what was happening? So what was happening was the 1200S was becoming rarer and rarer because more people were buying them to convert them into them. Because the only difference was the half fairing to the near enough no fairing and going to the square headlight. So my bike over the course of a year probably gained about £1,000 trade-in value. So that basically meant that all the figures matched up, and that's basically how I ended up with the 1400.
Yeah, right. What was your first impression ride on the 1400?
Well, see, when I bought the 1400, I bought it in November. So in November in Scotland, there's salt on the road. The roads are damp. The roads are cold. The roads are slippy. And when I rode that bike out of the forecourt, I fell in love with it. Well, I'd ridden it anyway beforehand, but I fell in love with it. The power delivery was blistering. It was unbelievable. And it felt so stable.
Yep.
It was ridiculous, and I made a kind of sort of pact with myself that I'm going to ride this through the winter. And the reason I did it was I wanted, I knew what power it had. I wasn't under any illusion as to what power was in it. But I wanted to be able to handle that bike in the worst road conditions that I could, and that's what I did. So when I was going into corners, I could feel the back end squirting. I could feel the losing trick, because my bike's a non-ABS version. My Gen 1 is the last of the Gen 1s before ABS. Before the ABS version came in, before you go into the Gen 2. And yeah. It was just, it was a great experience. And it built up my confidence within myself, within the bike. And as the weather started to improve, I was able to push it and push it and push it and push it. I've still not even began to find the limits. I would probably have to start doing some straight line events to get that bike anywhere near where it needs to be, top line.
Is yours a 97 then, Zed?
2008, mine is.
Oh, right. Because I know...
mine's a 209.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yours is the ABS version though, Roland, isn't it? No, it's yours non-ABS as well, right? So, mine's is... It must have been, was it late 2009, 2010 ABS came in?
Yeah.
So what CC was the original ZZR then? Was it 1100?
Yeah, the original big ZZR was 1100. Then it went to the 1200, and then stepped up to the.
Right, because I know it was one of the first sports bikes I ever saw, because one of my mates who lived across the road from us bought one. Yeah, the original one, and he eventually lost his life to that bike. Well, he had the black, 1100 ZZR 1100.
Yeah.
And I admit, when I saw it, I thought that is a nice bike. But he eventually lost his life to it because he was a twat, to say the least. Well, But he was one of those kind of riders. He was a bit of an idiot.
It's
definitely
one of
a bike that requires a lot of
the utmost respect.
Yeah, and he wasn't showing it respect. Trust me. He was ragging arse in that thing around a little mining village and all the country lanes around it, which is what eventually killed him on.
Yeah,
especially when you get them fully retuned and everything else, and you're punching out 235 horsepower. They require some respect.
Yeah,
100%. There's no denying that.
He had his brother on the back, and his brother's lost his leg.
Yeah, right. Wow.
Because of it. He killed him, and his brother was on the back, and his brother lost his leg because of it.
Yeah.
Because he was, not showing it the respect it should be dealt with. I
mean, 100%. It's like
I think he thought he was Barry Sheen or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's crazy. I'm trying to find. I've got pictures of it somewhere. The big bike. Can't remember where I've put it. That way we are. Don't know.
J-Mac, it don't matter to me what you ride. It's just my personal opinion of those makes and models. So, if you ride a Harley, great, mate. It's just the experience we had on the dealership. Put me and my brother off them for life, I think.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's like everyone rides whatever bike they like for whatever reason.
It's like me, a lot of people slag off the.
Some people ride bikes for the wrong reason as well. I hasten to add, but that is what it is. It's like I would not decry anyone that rides a bike for what they ride.
I ride a cheap Japanese bike, Chinese bike, Well, I enjoy it. It gets me out and about.
It doesn't matter at the end of the day. It's
a bike's a bike, no matter what CC it is, or what manufacturer. At the end of the day, we're all bikers.
Yeah, 100%. Let's see.
It's like I think above me head. It's my dream bike. So.
Yeah, I'm gonna share this. Let's see this. That's my bike, yeah.
Yeah.
You can see the camera. You can see my DJI sitting there.
Yeah.
So the bike looks black. If you look at where the Kawasaki sticker is there, beside the tank, it looks black. But you look at the other side and you can see it blue where the sun shines.
Yeah, I was going to say, you can see the blue on that. So.
Yeah. So that's it's Midnight Sapphire Black. It's called, but it's got that blue tint to it.
Yeah.
As I say, it's just an absolute weapon of a bike. Yeah, it's beautiful. Love it.
See, that's my piece of shit there. I'm a fat bastard on it. Yeah.
I enjoy watching reviews on ZX14s because people who ride them, their first impressions is really more related to what they've just hopped off of. And what they're riding now. You know, I mean, they've hopped off a very lightweight, low-powered, you know, like say 600cc class or 700 or 900cc class. And they hop onto that. I mean, naturally, it's a bigger, heavier bike. So naturally, it's going to handle different. Everything.
That's
else.
right. You're totally right. It's like like it was the ZRX 1200S I stepped off, so that was a big heavy bike. And with regards to like if you're talking about possibly like a GSXR 1000 or a ZX10R or something like that, a sports bike that's totally flickable. And I went from a ZZR 600 to ZXR 12 up to the 14. So I didn't have, and I have ridden. My mate's got a GSXR K3, a 1000 K3 with lucky stripe paint on it. I think I've probably got a picture of it somewhere. And I've ridden it, and I know what it's like. It dives into corners for fun. And when I rode the 1400, I knew that it was a big bike. I didn't find it particularly heavy. I think all the weight in the 1400 is quite low down.
Very low.
If you pick the 1400 up off a side stand, I think you're not far off picking up any other bike. It's only when you try and stop the thing and try and get it into a corner that's when you really have to be paying attention. And as long as you can understand that, and as long as you can appreciate that, there isn't an issue.
No, not at all.
I was just thinking, I'll take my comment back a little bit about not liking Harleys, being in though I ride a bike what looks like a Harley. It's based on one, little cruiser. Well, I don't know. I think it's the dealership what let us down. I sort of inherited that hatred, not hatred, it's just dislike for the fact that we got messed around,
Yeah. They can be a bit.
When you stood there and you're ready to hand over the bloody cash, you're talking to the finance guy and trying to get the final figure so my brother can go, there you go.
Yeah.
And the sales reps promise you everything under the sun. It just puts you off of them a little bit.
Here's mine standing in all its glory. It doesn't have that. I bought that as like the ninja stickers like raised. And the first time I broke a ton, the wind just ripped them clean off.
No, if it was
because they're embossed, they just come clean off.
No, if it was down to my missus, I would have one of them, but it got to be in the green, the quack green colours.
Yeah.
Because she loves that colour and she loves the ninja. And she said to me, it'd be the bike she'd like.
I don't know if they did ZX14s in the ninja green, did they?
The Gen 2s they did. The PS, the Performance Sport Edition, I'm sure they did, yeah.
Okay.
I don't think they did in the Gen 1s. I'll show you this. Wait to see this.
I've ridden the Gen 2s, and I can't stand all the. I really can't stand the traction control and the ABS. It just kills.
I've heard that interferes too much.
It really does, and even when you switch it off, it's still there. I don't like it.
This is my mate's GSXR K3. Next to my bike. You see this? That's beautiful, and the Lucky Strike livery. It's absolutely beautiful, and he's just resprayed the rear swing arm and that. He paints bikes. That's what he does, and he has painted the ZX at some point. I'll not tell you why he painted it, but he did paint it at some point.
That's the colour, because that's my brother's last bike. That was his Z1000 SX.
Okay, yep.
In the quack, in the traditional quack colours.
Yeah. I like the colours. The colours are great.
Yeah. That's a good, nice bike. That is. And obviously, got the saddlebags on the back of it. The torque pack on the back end of it.
Yeah.
And they're quite good actually. It's amazing what you can get in them for a week's away on the Isle of Wight.
Yeah.
Well, that was taken outside a friend's house, because that's my brother on the front and that's me on the back. And that was just departing his house in Wales on that thing. We did a test run to Wales on it just to make sure the comms and everything works and that lot. So,
yeah. Well, there you've got. I'm just looking. 2 seconds. I want to try and bring up a better sort of. That's not.
The Kawasaki Ninja 400 is a really good bike. It's actually it's almost a one-stop bike. You could buy it, learn on it, and it's got enough power to keep going beyond learner, without a problem.
Yeah. I would totally agree with that. And I was speaking to a guy in the car park in Inverary, and he had just bought one of the smaller Ninjas, and he came from a 600. The reason he did it was he went from the 600 down to the 4 because he was getting slightly older and his bike was parked in his back garden, and he had to take the bike beyond the side of the house to get it out onto the main road. The 600 was slightly heavier. Yeah. And he said that when he rode the 400, you couldn't measure the difference in the power in the bike. When it came to corner speed and overall speed, he said as long as you knew how to carry corner speed, the 600 wasn't much different.
There is actually a video going around on a track day with a Ninja 400 rubbing shoulders with a whole heap of 600s, and the 400 actually took everybody out.
Yeah.
Only because he could have it flat stick in the corners.
Yeah. Here's I'll show you thing there, the Gen 2 in the green. You'll see there's a couple.
Yeah.
So you've got the performance sport model. You've got the black with the green, which is like that one there.
Yeah.
Which I quite like. I like the green slashes through it. And then you've got it's mostly green with the black fins.
Yeah. And that's a metallic green too, that one.
Yes, it's like a candy green.
That's it. Yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Candy green. Yeah. So that's like the PS, the performance sport.
Yeah.
That's one of the Gen 1s.
Yeah.
The blue.
That doesn't look too bad either.
No, it's not. It's not too shabby, except for the exhausts. How many of these exhausts are actually holding up garage doors and that just now? They get taken off.
Mine's still on. Mine's still good.
No, mine are aftermarkets that's on it now. Some of them are some of them are massive. Look at the size of them.
Yeah.
You're like, it takes a look away from the bike. I understand they have to do it for the Euro. That would have been Euro 4 when that bike came out. That's I'm not sure what date that is. 2012 possibly. But it kind of spoils the aesthetics of the bike, and that's where Akrapovic and all the rest of them have jumped on the bandwagon of basically developing these exhausts for these bikes. But no, it's a cracking bike. I love the 14. I'm always going to have mine. My Gen 1's going to stay with me forever. I'll probably own more bikes in and around it, possibly smaller.
Yeah.
Possibly like dirt bike or something like that. But I'll always have the 14. That'll still be in my stable.
I've done, touch wood, an incident-free 70,000 kilometers, 75,000 kilometers on mine so far. And I still, to this day, it's one of those bikes. I don't know if you'll ever max it out, because the most I've done is maxed it out in 4th gear, but I've got 2 more gears to go.
Yeah. We've got it's called the Straightliners in Scotland. It's in Crail. Crail's an old Army Air Force runway.
Yeah.
Up in the north of Scotland, and they do a couple of Straightliners events, and
that'd be cool.
I quite fancy doing that to try and just try and get it as far as I can dare to take it.
Yeah.
I'll not tell you how fast I've had it in a local highway, but I have had it at a ridiculous speed. But I wasn't comfortable doing it, and I wasn't proud of myself either. But to do it somewhere that legally I can push it as fast as I physically dare, I think it would be an amazing. I think it would be an amazing thing to film as well. Try and vlog while I'm doing 186 mile an hour. I think that'd be hilarious. I'm shitting in my pants.
I'm all of a sudden feeling warm.
Yes. Oh dear, my butthole is clenching onto the seat.
Brown trousers and bicycle clips moment. Yeah.
Definitely.
So,
but anyway,
sorry, just quickly.
On you go, Matt.
If you ever see a Z1000 running around with that registration plate, the FP65 XGB, that was my brother's. So,
right.
I can't say I'll be able to see that around here, but
no, you won't see that over there because wrong place. But yeah. Well, that was a good bike. That was. I enjoyed that. When, like I say, spent a week on the Isle of Wight tootling around on that thing. It was fantastic. So.
Right, boys. So I've been running now, believe it or not, for
2 hours and 56 minutes.
Yeah. So we've
2
been
hours, 57 minutes and 8 seconds.
Yeah. So we've been going for a while. So I'm going to round it up.
No problem. So,
sounds fair, man. Sounds fair. But it was good to catch you guys. And
and you, Roland. Always enjoy chatting to you, mate. So.
And again, if you don't see me around much or dropping comments much, that's because this time of year I pretty much unplugged for a while.
Fully appreciate it. Fully appreciate it, Roland. But anytime, certainly anytime I'm on, you're more than welcome to come on, my friend. I'll always thoroughly enjoy your company, and I thoroughly enjoy your views as well. Sharing bike stories. It's always great.
I always enjoy talking to you as well, Roland, because we both have an admiration for the same piece of kit. It's just that
you'll be a happy man when you get one there, man.
That is what's pushing me to do my full license and get a bike. Is that thing?
Yeah, go for it.
That's the thing. That's like I want one.
Yeah.
So boys and girls, I'm going to wrap up. Thank you very much, everyone that's in the side chat. Thank you for coming along. Thank you very much to Matt, MT Belly, and Roland, Keith as well, all the way from Australia. Thank you very much, my friend, for coming along to the live stream. Whatever you're doing, everyone, over the weekend, stay safe, take care, and cherish the ones you love. This is Ed saying, take care.
Yep.
Stay safe.
Stay safe.
Cheers.
Peace out.
I know we went up and down a rabbit hole, but
So it's all good. Take care, man.
Cheers, Ed. I'll talk to you soon,
later.
mate. Good night.